Right. Hello and welcome, FPL managers. Welcome to Ghana Football Fantasy. And of course, we are back for double game week 22, not 21. I'm still in 21 somehow. I'm not sure if others are 21 in 21. Just goes to show you, because basically I'm trying to brag myself. I had a very good game week, so I'm just trying to pretend like, I can't remember and all that stuff. But anyway, good to see you guys. And yeah, it's good to be back after the little bit of a break. FPL break is always not good. Somehow it doesn't make us feel very good about it, especially if you had a bad game week. Somebody who's kind of brushing his hair right now, if they had a bad game, they like sort of like what do you call it? The week game week to come immediately after that. But yeah, FPL has been kind and knew it exactly. Like, okay, this is when Ashfaq will do bad, so let's call for a break, and they went for a break. But anyway, all breaks come to an end, just like all holidays come to an end. So we are good to be back, and thank you so much. And of course, it's a very sort of like a crucial point of time in FPL right now, because a move can make or break your season with all that sort of double game weeks, blank game weeks, chips and everything that is going to be in play from now on, from game week 22 to, I don't know, game week 38. And we're going to look into all that as a sort of like a very comprehensive picture. But I then deep dive into the, what do you call it, the game week 22, of course. And, there is a particular team, as people say, this has been a pretty strange season because Arsenal seems to be on top instead of being on 4. And, it's been a pretty strange season. And strange is not only because Arsenal is topping, but strange because a particular team that Manchester United opened the season with lost, and everybody was like kind of questioning Eric Ten Hag's tenure at Manchester United at the very first game, because they lost to a particular team called Brighton, and that Brighton ends up doubling up twice on a particular team who had been a champion or considers themselves as a close rival of ours. So it's a bit of a strange season in that case. So I don't know what I'm going to talk about, but let me just stop my rant here and let me introduce, because the team that is actually on top, we have a big fan of that particular team who has a lot of knowledge on that particular team, and he's joined us all the way from India, from Bangalore. It's, of course, you have not seen him before. This is his third appearance in the show. It's none other than Sankalp. Sankalp, welcome.
Thanks a lot, man. Thank you so much. So good to see you guys again. Right. And Happy New Year 2023. I think it's been a month, but yeah, it's a good
Yeah,
year
yeah.
to begin with.
Yeah, it's
I'm
always never late to say Happy New Year. It's
happy as
coming.
a I'm extremely happy the way we are doing. I just hope things continue in the same way.
Yeah, I just hope, yeah, at least, instead of City winning and somebody who called themselves the Reds, yeah, not the Devils, of course, the Reds. Yeah, at least they're not winning it. Always, it's very delightful, and it's a happy moment.
No,
We'll
I
take
think
it.
the FA Cup defeat actually did some good for them, because I think at the end of the season this will help the relegation fight. So I think this has been a blessing for them. So that is something
Yeah,
that they can focus on right now.
could you be specific about which particular team you're talking? Because both of them happens to have lost the FA Cup.
No,
So
no.
I'm just wondering. I'm just wondering which team are you referring to when it
Well,
comes to the relegation?
well, only one of them is in the relegation fight, right?
Right. No. Now. See. You got to be very clear here. Don't just throw something and let it be floating in the air for people to sip in and stuff like that. Don't do that. Don't do that. So, Ashfaq, like I said, Manchester United fans are humble, nimble, not cocky. Gentle, polite, decent.
No, I have seen everything as a Liverpool fan. I don't think you can get at me with anything. I have even seen a relegation battle under Uncle Hodgson. So
Yes,
I have
but
seen everything.
you have never been relegated, right? So
Yeah.
there's a first time for everything.
So you can come to me after we get relegated.
Yeah, Sankalp, there are so many people watching right now, and I just want to make a very open offer to you. And this is me being very honest and, being very humble when it comes to this sort of things. I'll openly have the humble pie. Yeah. Sankalp, I'd be happy to bear your air ticket and, invite you to Bangladesh if Liverpool gets relegated. Yeah. I'll
Perfect.
be, just to ensure that you are able to be standing there beside Saif and Pranoy and others who are Liverpool fans, and then you can ensure that their mental health doesn't get affected so much, and they're not suffering from any sort of PTSD. And just for that, we'll bring you as an Arsenal fan, to tell them how it felt, not being able to win for so long. You should tell them that, and I'll be happy to do that, and I'll bear your tickets. And I think the witness is already there, and all of you guys will get a dinner at sort of like Westin or something, like I'm happy to host all that. It's only when Liverpool gets relegated. Yeah, I'm happy to do that.
I have
Looking
to start
forward.
This is
getting
only
prepared.
for our colleagues, mental health, because we care for them and we want them to be able to function socially in their work life. And Saif is actually a colleague of mine. We work in the same company, and and Saif is also recently married, so there's that. Her wife is also a colleague of mine, so there's that concern for her sake as well. So
Makes
he
sense.
does not go into depression, so etc. So we have genuine concern. We do have genuine concerns there. You see
You
the
see
smile.
some,
There's a sadness before behind the smile. So don't be fooled by the smile. So genuine concern for us there.
you see Sankalp, as I said, I stressed on those couple of key adjectives there: humble, nimble, polite, decent, not arrogant. You see, it's slowly you'll see. There's genuine concern there. These are the kind of words that we associate ourselves with. So, yeah, glad to have you. Glad to have you, and glad to have Saif, of course. He's still kind of realizing, like, what the hell am I doing here? Yeah, shit, man. Today is the wrong day to join the pod. Perhaps I should have just avoided. Yeah, somebody's avoiding anyway. There's another Liverpool fan amongst us who's avoiding anyway. But anyway, let's get down to the show. Audience, there's so much to discuss. And if you have questions and comments and stuff like that, please do send it before 11:45. I would repeat, 11:45. We have a guest here who would not be able to stay with us for very long time, but we will try to finish the content as quickly as possible and try to answer all the questions that comes into our system at 11:45. So you still have a half an hour left. Send in as many questions as you can or you want to, and we will answer those questions. Yeah, so please do that. And of course, let's start with the show today, and there is a lot to discuss, I can tell you that. This is, of course, Footalochona DGW Ghono show for Double Game Week 22, and if you have not, in case, followed, liked, subscribed, I don't know, or haven't given us a review, you think we are doing rubbish, share your feedback or your comment or your honest opinion, whatever it may be, good, bad, or worse, whatever it is, but do share. And we would appreciate taking that into consideration and really try to work towards it. Of course, we love your support, and thank you so much all for joining. And then, just to let you know, as you know, of course, Ghono Football Fantasy is the only fantasy page in Bangladesh to be part of the Scouts network, and all the data that is used in the pod or in our Twitter and everything that we share on Facebook is all from Fantasy Football Scout members area. If you want to be part of the members area, then click on the link or reach out to us and we will provide you the link, and you would get 15% discount. And yeah, that would be that. And you can use all the data that we are there. And if you understand, we are happy to help you out. But yeah, if you want to be better at FPL, if you want to know why Nadim Bhai and everybody, Parvez Bhai always talks about zonal weakness, yeah, join the members area. You'll get to see those magics happening right there in front of you. All you have to do is just pick the right number, yeah? Don't read the wrong numbers. There's so many numbers there. Yeah, that's the fun part. Anyway, thank you so much, guys. And just before the prelude, I just want to make it clear, double game mix coming up, blank game mix coming up, which team is playing when, chips are going to be on news, all that we are going to discuss. Of course, scenario is going to change over the weeks again. We are going to discuss again, update those information as well, but we'll keep you informed. But this is the first of its kind that we are kind of coming up with a comprehensive thing. So let's start with that. And the first thing is a reminder that there are so many double game mix, blank game mix, and normal game mix. And I think we have tried to articulate this, and we have already put it up on Facebook. So in case if you haven't seen or you want to study more about it, go do check it out on our Facebook. But to discuss this in details, we have Saif. Saif, over to you.
Thank you, Bhai. This season seems to have been going on for a while, so it feels much longer for me as a Liverpool fan. But we also had a World Cup in between. But in truth, the season is actually only halfway there. We still have around 16 to 17 game weeks to come, and the fun's just starting. So the double game weeks, blank game weeks are coming up. We have Manchester United and Leeds United having a double game week in game week 22. Then Arsenal and Manchester City are having a double game week 23. So back-to-back double game weeks. Then game week 24 will be a normal game week, but we know now that the blank game week 25 is now confirmed. So Newcastle, Brighton, and Man United all with blanks. So we all have lots of players for those teams because these are the form teams, and also Man United have a double game week, so it's a bit tricky now whether to buy them now and then we have to sell them before blank game week 25. So it's all a bit tricky part, but that's the fun part. We have lots of ways to how to approach the coming game weeks, and then there is the possibility that Liverpool and Chelsea might have a double game week in 26. So they have a pending game, so it might drop in any time after game week 25. So we might have a small double game week 26, okay, or double game week 27 might also happen. So blank game week 28 is the largest blank game week because of the FA Cup clash with the FA Cup fixtures. So lots of teams have progressed to the FA Cup. I think four fixtures are only confirmed till now. So all the other 6 fixtures can be blank depending on the FA Cup results. So we'll know much more after the blank game week 25 is over. And then immediately after that, we have a large double game week. That is the game week 29. And then game week 30 and 31 will be normal. And then we have another large blank game week, followed by 2 large double game weeks. So I don't think we need to think that much further. I think we should now think about at least till game week 25. So our immediate plans should focus on double game weeks 22 and 23, and then blank game week 25. So let's go to the next slide
So there's
as to how to approach. So that's the chip strategy. So you can see that there we have discussed 4 strategies here. All the strategies start from game week 28. So I think at this point it's best to hold the chips as much as possible. But this game week, I think the triple captain chip is really popular. So Rashford and Bruno both are very good picks. I think both are playing to easy-ish fixture, easy-ish teams, at least attacking wise in Leeds and Crystal Palace, and both the fixtures are at home. So I think they have very good potential as a triple captain candidate. So lots of triple captaincy are flying around. So if you play UTC, I think it's a viable chip in this game. But other chips, I think like the free hit, bench boost, and the other wildcard we have, I think it's better to hold them at least until 28. Then we can. I have seen. Let's say the first strategy is wildcard in 29, and then free hit in 32, and then bench boosting in the biggest double game week in 34. Other strategy can be to wildcard free hit in 29, and then wildcard in 33 to set up the bench boost for 34. Then the third strategy also is wildcard in 29, also is bench boosting in 34, but here it is free hitting in 37. And then I think the fourth strategy is free hitting in 28, wildcard in 34, and bench boosting in 37. So I think for me the best policy for game week 28 is to play the free hit. I think because this might be the biggest blank game week, and then I think bench boosting in 34 should be the best way to go because it will be the biggest double game week. So it is if you bench boost, you have a chance to get 15 to 2 to all 30 fixtures for you, and then I think we can play the wild card to accommodate those policies accordingly. So as I said earlier, we don't yet need to look that further because we will know much more after game week 25. So it's best to hold the chips for now, and apart from triple captain, if you wish to play on Bruno or Rashford, but I think we should all hold these 3 chips in question now. That's the wildcard, free hit, and bench boost.
Yeah, thanks, Saif. I think that is why we didn't put the triple captain, because the triple captain is going to be discussed a little bit differently. But I think, I mean, just getting a clear picture of all the blanks and the small double game mix and the big game mix and the big blanks and the small blanks and the double blanks and the double game weeks. And there is double triple area kitna yaar, so many, there is just too many. Yeah, now to make sense of all that, why are we calling certain game weeks large and certain game weeks small and all that? And they're just lining up wildcard in 29 and free hit, and somebody completely jumping or not used to playing the FPL will be like, what are these guys talking about? Yeah, like how the hell do they know already that Game 28 is going to be big blank, and why they are suggesting Game 28 free hit? I don't understand. It makes no sense. To make sense, we have Sankalp here, and we have compiled this information, yeah, as to what we are trying to suggest, as to what Saif just said. We're trying to make sense of that. And this is information, not ours. This is collected, of course, credit to Ben Krellin, who is the master of, predicting which game will fall into when. I don't know how he does it. He's a bloody genius. Let's just call him the Einstein of FPL. Yeah, I would happily give him that title, Einstein of FPL, to be honest. But yeah, he kind of does this sort of like crazy things of predicting game mix and which game will go where and which game will. He's just on top of it. So we take information from him, and then we are trying to make it in a very simple way to explain to people, so that people can then look at this and then understand, like, okay, this is what Saib Bhai was actually talking about. To discuss that, I would invite our guest, of course, none other than Sankalp. Over to you, Sankalp.
Thank you. Okay. I think for people who are playing it a bit early into their FPL tenure, I would say don't get nervous around blank game weeks. Don't get over anxious or overactive when you see a blank game week or a double game week, right? Ideally, you have to play it very calmly, right? Not every double game week team has to be overloaded in your team, right? So if you see two fixtures, doesn't mean that you'll get a lot of points as well, right? Uh, Whenever you see a good team having a double game week, that's where you see that there's a good potential to attack, right? It's as simple as that. So good thing is game week 22, 23 have, three of the best attacking teams, I think, having the doubles, right? So you have Arsenal, City, and United having the doubles in the next two game weeks. And ideally, I would say these teams have assets or players who are good long-term choices, right? So currently, if today you do not have enough players from these teams, I think you can start with the United players because they have pretty good home games now, both against Crystal Palace and Leeds. And ideally, Leeds is something that we see a high scoring game at home for Old Trafford, and even Crystal Palace as high scoring as the Leeds one, but it'll be something where United should score. And the fact that they got a last minute equalizer, would have hurt United a lot. And I'm sure something that they would want as a revenge, right? So that sets you very well for you to attack the coming game week, right? Now it's always important that you do not play around with your five or six positions, right? And you make three, four changes, transfers, and then again next week another three, four transfers, right? So ideally, I'm expecting you would have players like Arsenal, right? Couple of players at least from them, couple of United players, couple of City players like Haaland would be there in almost all the teams, and maybe Kevin De Bruyne or someone like Mahrez, right, is already there. So hold on to the players that you would like to keep long term. Identify two to three positions where you can play around, right? Uh, do not take more than -8, I would say, to go for any double game week even, right? Now, best thing is once you move to game week 25. So game week 25 is an interesting thing because here you see United, and most of us have two to three United players, two to three Newcastle players. Both United and Newcastle are blanking, right? So you have four players, potentially four to five players of yours who will not be playing, right? And then there's a good chance that couple of teams at least will have a double game week, right? So this is where you can leave that long term strategy, right, for a blank team to a double game week team, right? This is a good jump to do. From a single game week to double game week, it might not always work out, but from a blank game week to a double game week, it's a good potential thing, right? So 25 is the inflection point for us. That's when United, Newcastle, some of these teams, right, will have to move out on a short term basis at least if they still look as good, right? For example, 26, there's a possibility of a double game week for Newcastle, right? So you cannot completely move out of Newcastle in 25, but 26 we do not see the same for United. So maybe you move out of United for a couple of game weeks, right? And then 26 and 27 you play them out and then come back, right? The blanks is something, so one of the most important things, or one of the most reactionary moves that I see normally is whenever you see a blank or a big blank, you just apply the free hit and you go for teams which has the players playing in that game, right? My only suggestion is that when there is a limited pool of matches in a game week, right, there's a limited pool of players who will be playing, and there's always a, the ceiling of that game week is always low, right? So generally if you see a big blank game week, you will see that the average points from that game week is generally around 30 to 40 points. It's not very high, right? So do not be trigger happy on that free hit button. Be cautious, look at the teams which are playing, look at how many players you have. You need not have 11 players in such a blank game weeks, right? Because to fill 11 players, you will have to go with teams which are not that good just because they are playing in that game week, right? So it is okay if you just fill in, go for players from the good teams and then still keep that chip. Play with six, seven, eight. I've played with eight, eight functioning players with a hit -4, -8, and still got a positive return in big blank gaming. So these are some of the things that principle wise you have to remember, right? Identify who are the good teams. Whenever a good team doubles, it's a very good thing. It's highest potential, highest ceiling that you can go for. Whenever a bad team doubles, it is not necessarily a good thing. So it's something that you will have to think about. If you want to jump on something, punt on someone, do it for one such player. Don't take 2 or 3 Leeds asset today. Don't take 2 or 3 Wolves asset in the game week 25 or Everton assets, right? So these are things that we need to ignore, because at the end of the day, a player from City, having a single game week can still outscore a player from Everton having a double game week, right? So that logical truth still remains. So continue with that logic. Don't play around a lot. Keep the core of your team constant as much as you can, but have that 2 or 3 positions where you would like to attack, right? Especially if you are someone like me who's still looking to chase rank, still looking to do well. You cannot just stay stagnant for sure. Do not over attack, but find a balance. Find that 2 3 positions where you feel that these are the players which are dispensable. I can move them out, go for some strong punts, and then maybe come back if I want to.
Well, the reason why we have people like you is because you use certain keywords, and those keywords are: don't be trigger happy, don't be over cautious again, but at the same time find a balance. I think if anybody didn't hear what Sankalp just said carefully or didn't listen to these 3 words: trigger happy, don't be, maintain a balance, and then don't be stagnant. Those are the 3 messages that he clearly gave out through a lot of discussion and analysis that he did. So thank you so much, Sankalp, for that. So let's do one thing. Let's move to the next topic, of
just
course.
to just to add to just to add to what Sankalp said is that one of the reasons that I really like what he says about FPL is that everything is not to, I know you personally, it's not to butter you up or anything, but it's like whenever I see him giving advice, Sankalp, it seems that FPL at the end of the day is a pretty simple game. It's all about simplicity. Think logically. It's a simple game. Don't go right, don't go left. Be patient. At the end of the day, it's a really simple game. At the end of the day, everything he says makes a lot of sense. So it's different. When you give advice to people, or when you talk about FPL, it seems a bit different, because during the deadline, we are all struggling and saying doing last minute transfer, should we do that, should we do that? But when we talk to you, or when I hear you talk, it seems that you don't need to do this. You can just do one transfer and wait it out, etc., etc. So it's different with you. It's really different with you.
Thank you.
Thanks for
No
that.
wonder, no wonder he comes back to the show so many times. This is his 3rd appearance. Yeah, and I think we will be. I don't think so I'm wrong when I say it that we have become friends now. Yeah, and there is no the first few days, like first time when I spoke to him, it was a bit formal. I
Yeah,
was a bit.
he would have been here more frequently, but because I was
True.
absent in the show, and he did not come as so much, so that's gonna change now, hopefully. Yeah.
Yeah, that is so. My God, Ashfaq, you are so good at reading people. You're really good at reading people. I can understand, and I know you are just away for a few days, and only for those few days we didn't get Sankalp in. So Sankalp, I hope you're not offended by the fact that you're not here only for a few days. He was just not here for a few days. It's basically three
Right, right.
months.
So
Yeah, yeah. Few days is basically
yeah,
3 months.
yeah.
So
That's 3 months, but taking into the World Cup, it's not many that many game weeks.
I,
Months
I
is
I
more,
just
but
came
game
once.
weeks is less.
That was my
Yeah.
mistake. I came once. I realized Asfaq is not here. I was like, okay, I'll wait for it.
yeah, that's what he
Right,
did. Yeah, yeah, that's true.
It,
That's
it
true.
felt like a blank game week.
right.
Yeah. It felt. Oh, good one. That was a good one. Right. Okay. Thanks, guys. But yeah, wonderful, wonderful. And I echo the sentiment that Ashfaq said. True. And I think a lot of followers are watching today, and they know that you are coming. We have made sure that everybody knows that you are coming. We didn't want to give them a surprise. I think when it comes to you, it shouldn't be a surprise. So there are a lot of people who have come in to just to listen to you and not to listen to my rubbish that comes out of my mouth every time. But anyway, moving on to the next topic, which is triple captain possibilities, of course. Ashfaq, over to you for this one.
Right. So, like Saibhai said, that triple captaincy will be a popular chip amongst many managers this week, particularly because of the United assets. United has two good, home games against Crystal Palace and Leeds, both who has struggled, defensively recently, especially away from home. Now, I'll go step by step. I will not cover all of the assets because triple captain is a big chip, and personally for me, when I actually go for the triple cap, usually I go with an asset who has more chances of starting, will not have his minutes managed, etc. For example, Salah over the years has been a very popular triple captaincy choice because Salah is almost never rested. He plays almost full minutes. He starts most games because of his, he's less injury prone. He's rarely rested, and he starts most games. So if Salah is on form, he has two good fixtures, and if those are at home, etc., then Salah is an obvious choice for a triple cap. But if you consider other assets who has much more risk of rotation and are a bit injury prone, who might have his minutes managed, then that is a different question altogether. Now, I'm coming to the first choice, the Rashford. I think it will be one of the top, most popular triple captaincy options this week. Good fixtures, excellent form. Rashford scored in the League Cup game. Rashford also scored in the FA Cup game. He also has had his minutes managed. I think in the last reading game he played around 68 minutes. So Rashford is an excellent triple captaincy choice. The only thing deters me from Rashford is that on his red hot form, I'm a bit concerned whether he has his minutes managed. I think he will start both games, but I think he might have his minutes managed. We will have a more understanding of his minutes if he is rested for the Nottingham game tomorrow. I think he will because United has a good lead of 3-0. So I think they will play it safe and, rest their more explosive assets. But with Rashford's form, two home games, I think he can be a great choice. But if Rashford does start tomorrow, that actually puts things into other perspectives because if Rashford does start tomorrow, I have a feeling he might be rested one of the two games. Although, my understanding or prediction is that he will be rested in the next game to, make him fitter for the Crystal Palace and the Leeds game. Now, another thing with Rashford is over the years we have seen that Rashford has been a bit more injury prone, and with him being one of the forms of his life, if he gets into an injury, that will be really really detrimental to United's top four push. Moving on to Haaland, I think
Title push, no?
Haaland title push is a long shot. Arsenal still is favorites for that. I'll take a top four pick over that anyway. My prayers are with you, to avoid your fight, in the bottom three or
RIP
etc.
United title push. January,
Okay.
December 22 to January 23.
Order,
Right,
order, order. Yeah. The court shall
right,
not allow mid-table teams to interrupt the session of the court.
right.
Only top four teams are allowed to speak about it.
Thank
The
you for
court
that.
shall
Thank
not
you for
allow.
the intervention, Mr. Host. So, moving on to Haaland, I think people who had, because Haaland is such an explosive asset, people who had moved on from Haaland after two bad game weeks or did not captain Haaland after two bad game weeks were made to rue their losses or tear their hair out, etc. If anything.
People
So
like you, I think.
no, I did captain Haaland. I was not one of them. And just to put into context, that Nadim Bhai was indirectly saying that I had a bad game week. Now, I had 80 points. Nadim Bhai had 91 probably. So 80 points is not a really bad game week, but takes things into perspective, right? Because people who captained Haaland actually had 70 plus or 80 plus 80 plus points. So even at 80, some might consider that bad game week. So Haaland can be really explosive on his day. So that is the proof of that. And like Sankalp already said, that with some fixtures like that or some performances like that, and a single game week player can easily outscore a double game week player, as proven by the previous game week. So Haaland is another explosive choice. He is almost never rested. Although City do have Champions League commitments, I think he will start most games. So if you consider, double game with 23, I think is a bit of a short shout because it's a less of a shout because Arsenal still, I think, has a decent defense, and City will there a bit inconsistent form, might have difficulty penetrating them. Game week 29 could be another option, and game week 34 too. So Haaland instead of game week 23, maybe 29 or 34 or further down the line can be a good option. So something to look out for. Like I said before, coming to the third option, Kane. Like I said before, that people who have absolutely no option or no concern for rotation or etc. Kane is one of them. I think he's still having a great, outstanding season, but Haaland is breaking records, putting things into perspective. Even Kane's great, outstanding season is looking like an ordinary season for him. Callum Wilson was doing an interview and he was saying that Haaland has already taken the Golden Boot. There should be another award for the second best goal scorer because he's in a league of his own and we should have our own league. So that is all taking into perspective what an outstanding season he's having. So Kane double league 29, double game week 29 if it happens. Everton and Southampton, I think, can be a good shout. It can be a bit of a differential shout as well. So if you're lagging in your mini league, that can be an option. Odegaard and Saka, I would not recommend because although they are good assets, they are extremely high differentials. So if they go wrong, then in that case you will lose a lot of rank. So Saka and Odegaard is something that I would not recommend. The same thing goes with Salah, although Salah will probably start most of the games. Liverpool's inconsistent form would deter me of Salah. So Salah has not been a notable asset like his previous years. So by
Ashfaq,
taking a drink of water to digest that sentence.
Ashfaq,
Uh, I
just to
would
interrupt, just to
I would
interrupt.
I
Sorry,
would I would like I
Ashfaq,
said I would. Yes.
just a second, just a second. Sorry, sorry to interrupt. There are just 3 minutes left. So, audience, if you have your questions, you have 3 minutes left. Please send it now. Any questions coming up today after 11:45, we will not be answering those questions. So if you have questions, it's a reminder to send your questions by 11:45. 3 minutes left. Thank you. Ashfaq, over to you. Sorry for that.
Right. No problem. So then coming to Trippier, in FPL perspective, Trippier has been one of the he's already won kind of the Ballon d'Or for the FPL managers because he's been an outstanding asset. Whenever Newcastle is giving a clean sheet or whenever they're not giving a clean sheet, Trippier is amongst the high BPS holders. Normally in other seasons we would never or suggest a defender, because defenders are high gain assets. Triple captaining on a defender, if defender loses a clean sheet, that could be uh, really detrimental to your FPL rank. But Trippier this season has been something outstanding. If suppose Wolves and Brighton, Newcastle keeps two clean sheets, there's a very high possibility Trippier will give you 18 points altogether. So 18 points on a double game week from clean sheets, it's something that has not been taken into consideration before. Although Trippier is a very high differential to consider, but that is something that is different this season. This has been a strange season. Arsenal is leading the league. Nadim Bhai is 100 points above me. This has really been a strange season for everyone concerned. Finally, Mitoma, again a high differential, not really triple captaincy asset for me, but it's with his great form, it's good to have him in your team. So if you're going for the triple cap, it should be one of Rashford, Haaland, or Kane. Haaland, if you're doing the triple captain now, Rashford, and if you're doing down the line, maybe one of Haaland or Kane. You are
Thanks.
muted.
Yeah. Thanks, Ashfaq. I was just saying. Okay, let's do one thing, and the next is hot topics. And I know there is a lot of things that we'll be covering in hot topics, but I think it would be good that we take a couple of questions, let's say five, try to answer those five questions before we move into the hot topics. Yeah, I think that would be a good thing to do. Then five of them can at least get their answers, and then we'll follow up with the rest as and when comes in. So let's take the first question. It comes in from Ayan Chaudhary. Is it perfect time for playing triple captain on Rashford, or should I wait? Although this is part of the sort of the hot topic that we already have, but I would ask Sankalp for his views on this one first. Sankalp, over to you.
Yeah, perfect time. I think it's very difficult to say which is the perfect time to play the TC chip, right? I think like we discussed before this, the the one thing that you should always remember for a TC chip is that you should put it on someone who is consistent in returns, is on form, right, and is playing for a good team, right. The other three things that I always keep looking at: good guy on form, right, has good fixtures, like best combination you can go for, and then go for it. I think all these three things are coming true, check wise for Rashford, right? So you will definitely get some returns from Rashford. Good thing is some of the guys have played TC chip on Haaland, last double game week. And ideally, Rashford should outscore the Haaland score from last double game week, and you should get some gain already, right? So it's very difficult to know in future which one will come out the best, but logically, I don't see any, reason not to play the TC chip. Having said that, I've still not put the TC chip on, Rashford or Bruno. I intend to get Bruno in. I don't have him now, but so far I've only have the captaincy chip on Rashford. Right, it's just that feeling that can I go for someone better, right? So for me, I think looking at the season, Kane and Haaland are the two premium options when it comes to goal scoring, right? I know that I can trust them when it comes to good fixtures. Both of them have some game weeks where they will have good fixtures, so I'm sitting back and waiting for that. I might change my mind, but that's my thought as of now. If you have decided on Rashford, there's no logical reason why you should think not this game week, because this game week is perfect and he'll give you points.
Thanks, Sankalp, for that.
Sankalp, you remember the Kane Cardiff triple cap game a couple of seasons ago?
Oh God. Yeah, we also
Oh my
remember.
God.
If anybody is thinking of Leeds assets for triple captaincy, just a gentle reminder. I don't know anybody's thinking or not, but I'm just trying to feed some ideas into people's brains here, but at the same time trying to caution them that if you're thinking of Leeds captaincy or triple captain, just do remember there was a player called Emmanuel Dennis, and he had a double game week.
Shane Duffy.
And Shen Duffy too. Yeah. So there are
No, I don't think nobody can beat Kane versus Cardiff. I don't think that's like the benchmark. That's the benchmark.
I think I don't know if
Because
there was
Duffy
triple
was always a differential triple cap anyway, and the
was it
Emmanuel Dennis,
was
well, that
yeah
came
red
out
card.
minus 1, so that was
Yeah,
something else. So
Alongside Kane,
triple
there is Sane and Mane. People went for Sane and Mane instead of
yeah,
Salah and Aguero.
I am the
yeah.
Sane guy. I remember. That's easy.
So yeah, I mean, yeah, those horrible things, moments of triple captain. It was just a reminder for those managers who have not been playing the season for a while. But yeah, these are the moments when people got completely caught up with the hype, and then they went, and then after the game week was over, they realized like, oh, in hindsight, what a bad decision it was. But anyway, let's go to the next question. Ayan Chaudhary is then following up with another question, and Saif, I'll come to you with this one. Should I play free hit in game week 25 or in game week 28, or should I play it in any double game week rather than any blank game week? Interesting question.
I think free hit in game of 28 is much more viable, much more efficient way for me, because I think we know the blank game weeks of 25 now. We can plan accordingly. We can take the players out one by one. We have 3 to 4 transfers before that, so I think we can easily put out a team of 11 with that. But game week 28 will be a bigger blank game week, so we won't be able to take out all the players who will blank. So I think it will be much more better to play it in game week 28. And also, I don't really like playing the free hit in double game weeks, because I think blank game weeks is the one where we should play the free hit, because we want to keep the best players we have. So when the blank, I think we can play the free hit as a jail pass card, or as a gateway card. So that should be the way to go, in my opinion.
Just to add, I play this game completely opposite. I do exactly opposite, right? When it comes to blank game weeks, you have four. So, for example, 28, I think we are expecting 4 matches, right? 4 matches, you will have like 5 to 6 guys returning max, right? Premium 4 5 guys. Ideally, I just want to get them on a hit and just play it out. I'm okay playing with 6 players, 7 players, because I know the potential, the ceiling is much lower, right?
right, right. The
But
ceiling
if
the
you
ceiling is
feel,
the main concern here, because if there are not no premium fixtures available, these are, let's say, mid table fixtures, such as Liverpool or something else. These are mid table teams fixtures. So in which case the ceiling is not really high. If you have 6 to 7, and if you have 6 to 7 players, I think is good enough to not play your free hit and etc. Even if you play just free hit, I don't think you'll have a much difference in your point table to justify playing the free hit. So like we are predicting, if there are big double game weeks in game week 34 and game week 37, potentially game week 37, and that would be a much better time to probably put your free hit in, because I think that will have a higher ceiling.
Right. Sankalp, anything else to add?
oh, very similar thought.
Okay. Right. Okay. Then let's go to the next comment, which is a comment, of course. Hamid Nain says, Assalamu alaikum. Walaikum assalam. Hamid Nain, good to see you, brother. Good to see you. I think this is the first time I'm noticing you after the World Cup. So I'm not sure how have you been, but I hope everything is fine at your end. Glad to see you back again. On Chaudhary then asks with another question. I have all my chips. Please give some idea how I can utilize this properly. Ashfaq, you were talking about chips while Ashfaq
Right.
is making
Right.
some interjections. So,
So,
yeah, if you can
Nadime,
give
can you go back to the slide where we discuss the strategies? I'll give some references there.
yeah, just a second. Give me a minute and I will come back there. Yeah, there you go. There you go. What happened? There it is. Yeah. No.
Right. So, Anshu, if I like you are saying, can you just hide the comment, or is so no need, sorry, no need. So like Anshu, if I like you're saying that we are already having some suggestions on when you can have your wild card, when you have your free hit, etc. There are some different combinations you can go through. So ideally, we reserve our chips for double game weeks, especially triple captain and bench boosts. A popular strategy for me was to prepare my wild card just before playing the bench boost. So maybe if the wild card, if the double game week was in game week 34, then I'd probably play my wild card in game week 33 to prepare myself for the game week 34 bench boost. We are also expecting a big double game week in game week 37. So if that is also a possibility, then you can also put your wild card in game week 36 and then play for game week 37, etc. So there are many combinations, but usually after game week 30, game week 30 especially, is when we strategize. We have a better understanding of when the double game weeks will happen or what fixtures will happen. So that is where we reserve most of our chips to play at. Free hit in game week 28, like side by side, is another way that you can navigate around the blank fixtures, that provided you do not have enough players. But I kind of agree with Sankalp that if most of these fixtures consists of mid-table or low-ranked teams, then there is not much point ceiling in taking a free hit. You'll probably be, if you don't take a free hit and if you play a free hit, there will probably not be much point difference. So my advice would be to plan your strategies in advance, when you would have a better understanding on the double game weeks. But do keep your chips reserved for the double game weeks, especially the game week 34 and game week 37. But do my suggestion would be, do play them after game week 30.
Okay, thanks, Ashfaq. Okay, then Hamim Nine asking how are we all doing? We are going good, brother. We're doing good, jolly good, I would say, jolly good, all good. I'm on a leave for a month, so yeah, I'm kind of, my holiday starts today, so yeah, everybody's just coming back and getting, starting the year and all the planning and year. And I said, like, you do the work now. I'm off. Bye bye. See you. So yeah, I'm on a holiday, and there's going to be a lot of content coming. So ideal timing, yeah. Timing has to be good, yeah, and it has to match with
Nadim Bhai is completely on target top 10, 10K. Yeah. He's taking a month's break. He's like, I will get it during this time. I'll close the FPL league and then I'll go back to work.
You see, Sankalp, that is something I don't tell everybody, but thanks for reading my mind. Really, I didn't say anything about it. I think only Parvez was telling me, like, now you have so much time now, Nadim, you can really focus on FPL. I was like, yeah, I'm going to focus on Gono football. I even diverged the content a little bit to Parvez as well. Like I said, I'm not going to focus on FPL, I'm going to focus on Gono football again. And then he's like, no, but you should also focus on FPL. I was like, yeah, let's talk about that later. But yeah, thanks. Good. You read my mind.
Sometimes it's bad to have too much time to think,
No, I will rarely think. I will work out on strategies rather than think about which transfers to make. I think transfer is the last decision. So yeah, that will come at a very distinctive moment. So depends on the zonal, of course. Okay, Sheikh Shuman is asking, and this is a pretty big question. I think it's more like a rate my team. So let's go with this. My team: Raya, Sanchez, Trippier, Shaw,
Goes to
White,
Saif, obviously.
Bueno. I was thinking of passing this to Saif, actually. Saif, you'd have to answer this anyway because it's a big question. Bueno, Doherty, Martinelli, Mahrez, Rashford, KDB, Ericsson, Haaland, Kane, Ferguson, 2 free team transfers left, not free hits left. God, for Christ's sake. Always FTs I'm reading as free hit. I don't know why. Transfer Ericsson, KDB to Odegaard, Bruno to or Ericsson, Doherty to Odegaard, 1 Bissaka. I don't understand the transfer suggestions, but Saif, if you can make sense of it. Ericsson.
Yeah, I understand.
Okay. Saif,
Ericsson, KDB to Odegaard and Bruno, or Ericsson and Doherty to Odegaard and Wan Bissaka. That's his
okay.
question.
Okay. Go ahead.
You have Kane, Haaland, Ferguson, Trippier, Shaw, White. So 3 defenders are there. Martinelli, Mahrez, Rashford, KDB, Ericsson. I think I will go with the first option. There is Ericsson and KDB to Odegaard and Bruno, and then you can do the popular flip flop that is quite popular right now. That is to KDB to Bruno to KDB. So if you If you would like that, then you can just revert the transfer back. But I would go for the first one because I think we should have two attacking cover from Man United because they're really playing well. Their attacking play is, I think, up there with Arsenal and Man City right now. They're the three best attacking teams in the league. So I think it's better to develop in attack. So Ericsson, KDB, Odegaard, and Bruno.
Right. Thanks, Harsh. Thanks, Saif. And let's take this as the last question before we get into the hot topic, because I think otherwise we'll be delaying the main topic discussion a little bit longer. So Shehab Ahmed is asking, শো আছে ডাবল ডিফেন্স করব, শ আছে আর কি, ডাবল ডিফেন্স করব ম্যান ইউনাইটেড থেকে, আর একটা কাকে নিব? ওকে, so basically he has Shaw and wants to double up on the defense from Man United. One he has already, which is Shaw, but he's asking which one should be the another option. Sankalp, over to you for that one.
I think the last question there he was discussing one of the names. Van Bissaka is coming out well. Someone I think who has that position well. He's doing a lot of defending things, so might get a bonus point. Say this low scoring match, right? So I think that's a guy like if you want to play safe, you can go for someone like Martinez, right? Lisandro Martinez, right? These are guys who are safe for you if you're looking for double defense. I think the value in United is in double attack currently because everyone has Rashford and Shaw, but you never know, right? The only issue is Leeds generally is a high scoring match. You should see Leeds score as well. So getting a double clean sheet is a bit tricky, but if it comes out, it comes out really well.
Yeah, that's true. I think focus on your attack rather than on your defense, brother. But anyway, the decision is up to you. All right. So let's go back to the content again, and let's bring up the hot topic. Now, I just want to remind the audience. I mean, before I go into this one, I just want to remind today, next game week. I mean, this game week we have the double game week for Manchester United and Liverpool. Sorry, Leeds. Not Liverpool, another arch rival of Manchester United, of course, Leeds United. But next game week 23, we have Arsenal and we have Manchester City doubling up. So because we cannot cover the two teams' discussion in 1 week, we tried to bring Sankalp today to discuss all things Arsenal. And you will be hearing his Arsenal opinion very soon when we are going into the hot topic. But just wanted to let you know, for Man City as well, there is a person called Alex. If you have not seen him on Twitter, he makes predictions and he's quite pretty good when it comes to this kind of sort of predicting Manchester City. And he has a huge Twitter followers, and he has kindly agreed to join us next week to discuss all things about Manchester City. So next week for Game Week 23 pod, we will have another international guest, Alex, joining us from the United States. So please do join in. And don't forget, and if you have all your questions about Pep Roulette and everything, ask him. He's the guy, not me. Yeah. Don't blame Gone Football after that. If things go wrong, you blame Alex. Okay? Right. We agree. We all agree. Okay. Right. Okay, let's go then. So, Ashfaq, you have taken a lot of time for the previous discussion. Thanks for that. Would you mind in a very short and in a succinct way, tell us who are the best Man United options, because they have a double game week, in case you are wondering.
So this is Manchester United you are talking about, and they are on form, and you're
Sankalp
asking
has
me to
gone.
you're asking me to talk less and less. So this is torture for me. But anyway, like Sankalp said, I think the value in the United assets are actually in attack rather than defense. With defense, I think Shaw has really done well. The left back position is his. Whenever they have played a three-man defense, they have also played as the left center back. So Shaw is something that if they clip a clean sheet, he's usually on the bonus points. So if you're looking for the defensive assets, I think Shaw is the way to go. And regarding like Sankalp said, and I agree with him, but the actual value is in the attacking assets. And I think the most explosive asset you can own right now, or you do need to own right now this week, is Rashford. He has been in an explosive form. I think he has managed his fitness issues really well, and Eric Ten Hag has managed his fitness really well. So even Rashford is a great triple captaincy option, will be a popular triple captaincy option this week. So Rashford is one, and the other option should be none other than Bruno Fernandes, because even Rashford might have his minutes managed, because I don't know if he will play all 90 minutes in both of the games, because there are some fitness concerns with him. But with Bruno, fully expecting him to get the full 90 minutes in both games, because he has no fitness issues whatsoever. He's like a horse, etc. So regarding that, I think Bruno is your best bet. The other assets like Casemiro or Weghorst, because Casemiro, scored the 2 goals in the midweek, is a bit of a long shot, because Casemiro plays deep. Although he will get the odd goals, etc. So I don't consider him an asset. Other than that, there's Weghorst. I think he's still finding his way onto the team. He is uh, more of a link up play, making the spaces for Rashford or any other wingers like Elanga or Sancho or even Garnacho to play ahead of him. So Weghorst is still a long shot. He's still making his way into the team. So Casemiro, Weghorst, not for me. The primary or the assets you should look into are the first three. Rashford, definitely. Bruno Fernandes, of course, because he will play most minutes. Good differential as well, only 9.2 owned. And finally Shaw, because he has been great defensively, and if he gets a clean sheet, then he'll definitely have on the bonus points.
Thanks, Ashfaq. You just
Yes.
after finishing it. I mean, after finishing, look at him. He didn't even bother looking at it. Over to you, Nazim bhai, or something. Like he finished it and just quickly started eating. That's the attitude, man. That's the attitude. Keep it up, Ashfaq.
I think
love
he
it.
started eating just to let himself stop talking.
Yeah,
I
probably.
think otherwise he would have kept on going talking.
This is
Okay.
United. They are on form. He's asking me about United. They are on a double game week. What can you expect, man?
No, I expected nothing less and nothing more, to be honest. This was precise. Thanks, Ashfaq. But anyway, let's bring the discussion back to the hot topics again. And the main team, I mean, like I said, this season has been a bit unusual. It's a bit unusual that we beat a particular team 2-1, and then we ended up losing at the very last moment 3-2, and they are now topping the table, and I don't know, and it's been since 2004. I haven't considered them as a rival, and now suddenly I feel like they're back again, and it's very strange. It feels different. It feels like I've just finished my HSC, that is my CVSC, because that's when last I saw Arsenal won a tournament, or the Premier League, to be honest. But it's Arsenal. Yeah, let's not ignore the fact. No matter how many times I try to troll and how many jokes I crack, the truth is, Arsenal are very much a legit title contender. They are playing as a team. 3 years of hard work. Let's give recognition to the fact that Mikel has done wonderful job. Yeah, he's taken it up. He's gone through ups and downs. He had enormous amount of challenges, but he's finally, through that process of 3 years trying to mold a team, he's finally showing what he has made. And that team, yeah. I mean, I myself had doubts when I saw them playing, and I saw them playing beautiful football against opponents. I was like, okay, these are not that great teams, so maybe Arsenal is playing good. But when they were playing beautiful football against Manchester United, and the fact that Manchester United is not the Manchester United of last season, and I've seen our team improving, and yet we were struggling, I realized, no, this team has really, really, really improved. But let's discuss that. We are not talking about football. We are talking about the FPL assets now. And people are confused whether they want to go defense, whether they want to go attack, which one should they focus on, why? And if they focus on attack or if they focus on defense, which are the assets we should be targeting? And to discuss all that, the man, the mystery, the legend himself, Sankalp.
So
the Arsenal.
basically, Nadim Bhai has given such a long introduction, and it gives like Sankalp less and less time to actually say his words.
No, Sankalp has his time. It was only for you. The brief and succinct part.
Thanks for that intervention, Saif. Very appropriate.
Okay, perfect. I think things have set up well for us. Uh, there are two reasons why I would say, let's go for Arsenal attack rather than defense. Both short term as well as mid term. Short term because we are going on a double game week where we are going to face Brentford and City. Ideally, Brentford, we have played them away and we came out, I think, 3-0 win, complete clean sheet. So that should give you some good returns from a defensive point of view. But City home, I expect us to concede, right? I expect it to be a decent high scoring game, 2-1, 3-2, that kind of game. I don't know which way it will go, but it will be a good, well scoring game, right? So short answer, going into a double game week in this particular scenario, it makes sense to go for attack rather than defense, right? Long answer is if you look at current Arsenal players, we already have, Saka Martinelli was a good favorite for a lot of people. Saka Martinelli White is what we had seen with a lot of people. Now we have seen Martinelli numbers to, come down. We have seen Odegaard give a lot of returns. We have seen Saka continue his form. And then now we have seen a third player come in, right? Who's Eddie Nketiah, who's just a 6.5 million guy, size 6.5 million striker. But he's playing for a team which is at the top of the table, who's scoring a lot of goals. If you look at our XG, we are there around 1.8, 1.9, right? So close to two goals is our XG. And a team and confidence generally, overscores or outperforms the XG. And that's what we are doing even, with a XG of 2, we are sometimes scoring 3 goals. And that's the reason I feel that it's a good time for us to attack go for Arsenal attack because there are good players and there is a strong differential that is coming up, right? Someone like Eddie Nketiah has still, I think, less than 10% ownership and gives you a strong option of a third forward or maybe a second forward to go with, right? And if you look at the matches even after the double game week, currently this week we have Everton at away, which should be a good scoring game. Then we have Aston Villa away, again good track record there, and we'll be playing Emery. It will be interesting to see. Then Leicester, a team which is conceding a lot of big chances, and then Bournemouth at home, which is again a strong game to go from attack point of view. So if you look at the next 5 or 6 fixtures as well, these are looking much better from attack point of view. At the end of the day, right, FPL is all about upside, right, which is giving a higher ceiling. I think our attack has a very, very, very strong ceiling to go for. And the good thing is these players are still very cheap because they started off cheap, right? So it's not like you have to burn a hole, you have to take a -4 -8 to get to a player like Eddie and Ketia. You just have to find 1 million cheap, right? Even if you are from Greenwood to Eddie will not make a lot of difference. But if you're from someone like Mitrovic or someone like Tony, it's a easier move, much easier move, right? You save money there and you can even invest it somewhere else. Now these are the numbers. You look at the numbers, before and after restart. We have Odegaard, who's already given 2 goals and 4 assists. Really, really strong form. As looking at his, penalty touches and all, very surprising. If you look at his, the way he's entering boxes, right? It's very close to any striker even, right? 22 touches. His goal attempts, if you look at, 18 goal attempts over the last 5 matches. So he's having like 3 on an average. We have played 5 games, right? 3 goal attempts on an average, and he's had 9 attempts within the box. Right? So it's a very strong attacking midfielder, right? Someone who's running in late into the box, and that's why he's on form. You have Saka. Saka for me is the best long-term asset that you can go for in the 8 million bracket. I think he's currently leading everyone by a good margin. From a structure point of view, if you're looking to bring in one player, I'll always say it's Saka. I know Odegaard is on form, but long term, he's a easy set and forget, right? So and you see a consistency. He had scored 4 goals and 7 assists prior to restart. Now he's already got 3 goals, right? So he's looking to add to his goal numbers. Everything else looks good, right? Nothing to compare or nothing where we see a sharp drop as such. Now the third slot is where we have a trouble, right? Most of us have, Martinelli. If you look at his ownership, it's still 42%, strong ownership. The reason is that most of us have gained a lot of team value, and that's why we are not sold. Even I have Martinelli in my team. I have not sold him. I feel Everton is the match that I would, have a look how Martinelli is gelling. But one of the reasons Martinelli's numbers have dropped off, if you see, and someone like Eddie Nketiah, he has scored more points than Martinelli even, is the fact that we have Zinchenko coming into the team. Zinchenko is playing now as an inverted fullback, and Arteta has changed the structure with Martinelli playing wide, and he's not getting a lot of opportunities to come in. When Jesus was playing, Martinelli and Jesus will, interchange positions. So sometimes Jesus will go out as a winger, and then Martinelli will play as a centre forward, which really helped him, sometimes score goals as well. Eddie Nketiah, on the other hand, is a core number 9. He stays in the box. He's the guy who will continue taking away that space. So Martinelli is compensating for Zinchenko and is playing out wide, right? That means Saka and Eddie, or Saka and Ode, are the two players, when you have two men, trying to press the defender, two men trying to cover those central spaces. Eddie is always there, and on top of Eddie, it's either Saka or Odegaard, depending on the situation, right? And that is the reason for me. These are the three top assets. Someone like Saka, Odegaard, and Eddie, because these are the people who are getting into the box a lot, who are having a lot of attempts on shot, right? Who are creating a lot of XG as well, and just and this is also one of the major reasons I'm not exactly in favor of a defender. What makes our job easier is if you're looking for to move off someone like Ben White, right? We have now United, who's playing really well in defense. You can go there. We have Newcastle, who's playing really well in defense. And the good thing is, with Cancelo getting sold, we can go for some City defender who we now know has much more assured minutes, right? So options are there for us to move out of defense, and option is there for us to get into attack, right? So it's falling into place a bit well when it comes to the next double game week at least.
Thanks. This is the reason why we were happy. And I think you made the point there. I will just touch upon some of the most important point that you raised. Yeah, often when we play FPL, we don't look at football from a tactical point of view and then determine that or translate that into FPL. Yeah, and I think that's exactly what you did, and you tried to remind the viewers who are watching right now. I think the point that you clearly made is the introduction of Zinchenko, the shift of Martinelli to the wider area, why Martinelli was getting so much points when it comes to Jesus playing and not getting points when it comes to Nketiah. And I think that kind of that's the summary that people needs to know. And I think that is the summary that I was actually looking for, to be honest, because this is something that I saw on Twitter, but I wasn't really quite sure, and it was coming from a non-Arsenal fan. So yeah, I had my doubts, but thanks for echoing that same sentiment, Sankalp. And I think it just speaks volume about it. And I think it makes my decision as a Martinelli owner, and I fully agree that we have all our values tied with Martinelli. So a bit of taka chole gelo ar ki, basically losing money, but that's and the wild card is still far away from it. So yeah, not ideal. But
This is like stock market.
yeah, but it's not about the money at times. It's about certain other important issues like opportunities like Nketiah. And I think that's clearly been laid out. So audience,
There's the ownership factor as well. Martinelli scores, you don't own Martinelli. There's that as well. I think that is also something that people are considering before selling on Martinelli. So I
no,
think it
clear.
was great insight. I think it was great insight, for the Arsenal assets to consider. I have two questions to Sankalp regarding the Arsenal assets. Number one is that, regarding Arsenal has been a solid team this week, which pains me to say, but it's true. In which case, what I'm saying is that they have been solid defensively and they have been solid offensively as well. I think they will go on to win the league because they have some, sorry, I'm elaborating a bit. One of the main things that you can understand by a title winning squad is that they can churn out or dig out wins from a losing situation or drawing situation, which I think they did against United. When I saw the United game, they were pressing till the last game, and at the end of the day, they took a win out of it. So that I think that's the bit of a sign of a title winning squad. And the second thing is that as you remember, Sankalp, that historically Arsenal has always been title contenders in the early 2000s, but what happened is that during the January or the February period, they ran out of steam. They dropped some points. At the end of the day, they ended up being second or third, etc. And they had European commitment. So Arsenal has nothing but the Premier League to focus on this season. So that is something that I think that will is a very good advantage for them. Other than that, I think they have spent really wisely in the transfer window. The buying of Trossard and was I think was a masterstroke. So regarding the running out of steam, I think they have adequate depth in their squad as well. Sorry, I'm coming back to my question. My
Okay.
question is that
Finally, you
game.
realize. Okay. I thought you were going on a extempo here on Arsenal, but thank
Sorry. I apologize. I apologize
He's
really.
making up for the lost time.
yeah.
I apologize really. So my first question is that Game Week 23 will be a popular time for tripling up on Arsenal assets. So the first question is that would you consider tripling up on Arsenal offense rather than having one defense? I think Ben White is a popular defender to own for most managers there. But would you consider having three offenses, or would you consider that a bit risky for going into a double gaming for Arsenal?
That's
Uh, I still have Ben White in my team, right? I'm still debating on it, but the fact that we are playing City, at home, I am automatically taking out one clean sheet there. It is going to be, very difficult for us to get a clean sheet, right? So, and then you have two away matches, right? So generally, while we are doing a lot well away, right, but Aston Villa are playing really good attacking football now under Emery. I expect us to concede one at least. Leicester, uh, difficult to say. We might get a clean sheet there, but we might not as well. A bit 50-50, right? But all these games are good, high scoring games. That's my point, right? So when you're looking at seeding, be it Brentford home, City home, obviously I cannot say much on both attack and defense, but all the other games are really good, high-scoring games. If you look, if I have to predict now, I'll predict us, with better chances of scoring 2+ goals rather than getting a clean sheet, and that is one reason I want to focus more on attack. If you have a Ben White, you don't want to take a hit. I think it's completely fine. Long term wise, I think one good thing is when you take players from good team, right? From strong performing teams is whatever asset you take on long term, they're going to give you good returns, right? So if you have Ben White, uh, I think over the season we are still having 9 clean sheets, which is like the second best after Newcastle. So over the next 15 game weeks, I'm sure Ben White will give you good points, right? He's already 84 points. If he doubles you and gives you, 150 plus 170 odd points from a 4.5 million defender, what more can you want, right? The only upside is because there are teams who are also doing well. United is now doing well in the back. City has now better play. We know who's the back for almost, right. Three of the players at least we know from City, right. So now that you have options to play around, do you want to go for go for choices which have that higher upside? Right. It's all down to you as a player. Do you want to take that risk? If yes, I feel Arsenal is worth it because if you look at the number of goals, if you look at the inherent metrics, everything is doing well, and the fixtures are looking like fixtures where we'll score more. Right. So everything is tying down really well for us to take that call that why not go out all attack.
Right.
Thanks, Sankalp. I think
My second question is a short one. If you had the option to bring in one of Saka and Odegaard, which one would it be?
So Odegaard, so I was looking at the stats, for the for the last 10 weeks, in fact, game week 11 to game week 20, and I saw Odegaard is doing really, really well, amazingly well, compared to Saka even. Right? The number of touches, the number of attempts is so strong. Even if you look now after, restart, he's having almost double the attempt. He's trying out twice the number of attempts compared to Saka, which would have been unheard of, prior to this season. There might not be a wrong answer, but I have a personal bias for Saka. One of the reasons is one, he has penalty, and he's the penalty taker for us, right? So any penalty he gets it. Second is he's our talisman. So at the end of the day, every time we look for him to score. Odegaard is on form currently. He might not always be on form. He will still give you assist for sure. But at the end of the day, that goal scorer in our team is going to be Saka. And that is the reason I have Saka in my team. The first player I got in, I was like, okay, let me get Saka. Then I will think, should I go to Odegaard or not? So my first priority is always going to be Saka if you have the money. If you don't have the money, I think Odegaard is a very, very valid choice.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks. Thanks. Saif, you have a question or something regarding Arsenal? No.
Yeah. I actually had two questions, but Ashfaq has taken a lot of time. So I just wanted to ask for Sankalp's opinion on two things. That's regarding Jorginho's transfer. Do you think Saka will still be the first choice penalty taker if Jorginho is on the pitch when a penalty is given? And also, what do you think about Trossard taking up Martinelli's position or being a threat to Martinelli's minutes in the team?
Yeah. First, I don't think Jorginho will take away the penalty from Saka. I mean, we might have one such situation where first time Jorginho is there, maybe we want him to score a goal, something like that. But like I was saying, Saka is the talisman in the team. Uh, Also, Jorginho has been bought as a Elneny's replacement, right? Because Elneny is injured for the entire season. He's not going to be a starter. So the number of minutes that Jorginho is in the pitch might be something around 10 to 15 minutes, right? The number of minutes Saka is generally on the pitch is close to 90. His only backup was someone like Marquinhos, who we have already sold. We have loaned out already, right? So he's a player who spends a lot of minutes on the pitch, right? And that's the probability that when when we get a penalty, Saka is there is much higher than when we get a penalty, Jorginho is there, right? So ideally, I feel that Saka still retains that penalty slot. Second question, I think definitely Martinelli will have some minutes reduced, and we have already seen it over the last one match where I think against United, Trossard came right, and he did it fairly well. These are youngsters who have been playing 90 minutes for us for a long time, and it's time that they start taking a bit of rest. Even Saka, for example, but Trossard is a really good option. And especially what happens is Zinchenko does not play at 6 minutes. And we're talking about Zinchenko and its impact on Martinelli. Right? So Zinchenko is still coming back from injury. He's not a guy who's playing 90 minutes every time. So you'll have Tierney come in and Zinchenko go out, say, around 60th and 70th minute. And Tierney is the opposite of Zinchenko. He stays out wide. Then it makes sense for someone to, get in, for a player, a winger to come in who can play much more central. And Trossard is that guy because he's spent most of his time in central areas, right? So Tierney and Trossard will be a good combination to come in and replace Zinchenko and Martinelli. Something that I think we'll see a lot more in the coming weeks, and that should have an impact on Martinelli definitely.
Brilliant. From a tactical point of view, that is brilliant, and I think that speaks a lot about our FPL assets. Okay, we had quite an intensive and extensive an analytical and tactical discussion here about Arsenal. So thank you, Sankalp. Thanks, Ashfaq, and thanks, Saif, for the questions. And I think it adds a lot of value. So I'm not going to talk about how many minutes you guys took. But anyway, let's go back to the hot topic now. And I think that the next hot topic is, of course, so this one I'm not going to go and tell you into a lot of details. I'm not going to go into asking you a lot of details. All I'm going to ask you is your opinion, whether you think this is the right move or not, and try to keep it short. The third one is it worth transferring KDB Salah? So if somebody has KDB Salah, to move to Bruno in Game Week 22, and then from Bruno to KDB or Mahrez in Game Week 23 by taking a hit. I'll start with you, Ashfaq.
Salah to Bruno is a move that I would definitely recommend. I think Bruno should be a priority transfer this week. People who are thinking of tripling up on United, Rashford, Bruno, and Shaw are the assets to get. So I think for me that would be something to go to.
But from Bruno to KDB and Mahrez in Game Week 23 by taking a hit, what about that? Do you suggest that as well? The flip
Yes,
flop.
because teams like City always has a high ceiling. So a minus hit in the long run, I think they can cover it. So definitely, I would go with that as well.
Okay, Sankalp, I'll come to you next for your opinion. What do you think? KDB Salah to Bruno, Bruno to KDB Mahrez, 23 -4.
The first part I am definitely doing. KDB or Salah, if you have to Bruno, definitely move there. Bruno to KDB is something that I'm thinking about. One is I think City have a home game to Aston Villa, and that's a game I think they'll score a lot, right? And that's where my major worry is missing out on someone like KDB or Mahrez. But the counter to it is, especially if Bruno does really well in this game week 22 when we are expecting him and he picks up form, the counter is Bruno is going Leeds away. And generally, Bruno does really, really well Leeds away because Leeds come out completely and attack, and United sit back and just counter them. It's a 4-2, 5-2 kind of game, and that's the reason I'm thinking, okay, is it worth a hit? If you're not doing it with a hit, maybe it's okay, but you might as well see a double digit from Bruno with a single game, right? And so this 2 game weeks is when I think you have to focus a lot on how Bruno is playing, where he's playing. Also, the fact that Bruno generally will, I think, is expected to play far more advanced if someone like Weghorst is playing compared to someone like Martial coming in, right? So Martial's injury, Martial's fitness will play a good factor as well on what is the kind of returns we're expecting from Bruno. My eyes will be on Bruno this end, or both the matches. I'll see how exactly he's playing. If he's really good on form, I like taking on uh, on form strong assets, right? And Bruno is always going to be a very, very good asset, right? If he's on form, I'll say just ignore the double game week. In fact, Mahrez is a good option. So just look whether there is another alternative of getting Mahrez, right? If we can get Mahrez in any other way by not selling Bruno, maybe it's perfect win-win for you.
Thanks. I agree with that opinion, to be honest, because that's exactly the idea that I have. I have Bruno from game week 17 anyway, so I'm not worried about taking Bruno in by selling KDB and Salah. What I'm really doing is moving out of KDB and then going into Mahrez in game week 23. That's what I'm planning to do. But yeah, Saif, I'm coming to you for this one then.
Yeah, I am with Sankalp. I think the first one is a bit no-brainer, but let's take it by game. Let's see what Bruno does, and then think about the next move. Because I think if Bruno clicks, and he also has 2 good fixtures after the double game week, so I don't think there is much more to gain by taking him out. So if you can get to KDB and Mahrez with another route, if like selling someone like Kane, for example, I would go for that route rather than selling Bruno. But one thing to consider is, I think the blank game week coming up. So if you move on Bruno to KDB, then you get another player who is playing definitely in blank game week 25. So that's something else to consider. But let's just, I would just go for the first one and then think about it before game week 23.
Right. All right. Over to you, Saif, then. For the 4th topic, should we consider Arsenal, Manchester City, or a Leeds midfielder to replace Almiron? That's one. Mitrovic to whom? Because a lot of people are trying to sell Mitrovic. And of course, Cancelo has said goodbye after his bust up with Pep, losing form, then acting like a baby, cry baby, I'm not going to play. Kelbona, I'm not going to play because you don't put me in the first team. So, yeah, all that drama and everything. Let's just say he's gone, and who should be his replacement? So over to you, Saif, to discuss that one.
So the conspiracies in the hot topics too. You are giving me 3 topics by merging them all in one.
Yeah,
So,
that's Parvez who does it. All this, you know who's the conspirator,
You are
right?
you are the most
but you are the
insightful,
one who
right?
chose
And this
me.
is also to cure your depression if you are going through it.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true.
I'm just glad that you have not been given that one, because I think we would be going till at least 1:30.
Yeah, no, we'll be finishing very soon because I think the last one I'll be discussing it. So that's that, and then we go straight to the question and answer. So yeah, go ahead with it, Saif. If you want to take it to 1:30, good luck. All the
No,
very
I,
best.
I, won't. I won't.
Yeah, no, I mean Ashfaq could. I mean, just
He
just say.
easily can. I think he can easily talk about anything for the entire night.
Yeah,
So
that's true.
Right. I have 3 months to make up, so you should give me a
you are
break.
not much different earlier before your hiatus. It's not that you have changed and you talk a lot now. You talked a lot before then too. That's why we
Okay.
kicked you out for 3 months.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay,
Let's
okay.
not.
let's move on to the topic.
Get the cat out of the bag. Yeah.
Yeah.
So come on.
Let's move on to the topic. That's the Almiron replacement. Almiron's numbers has really dropped off after the restart, which was really surprising. We all actually thought that he would keep on scoring the points he have been scoring for us before the World Cup break. But unfortunately, even though he still remains a key part of Newcastle's attack, but I think in general their attack has dropped off and their defense have picked up a lot. So the focus should be on their defense. Triple up is not out of thoughts, I think. So I think we should move on from Almiron if you have not yet. So the first choice for me is, if you can afford, I think Saka can be a good option. He can be someone you can just bring in and then keep at least until the end of the season. You would not have to think about anything else unless there is some injury. So he is a long-term pick. The form pick is Odegaard. He has been a revelation for Arsenal this season, and he has kept his form after the World Cup break. So he has been scoring points, and I think he is the leading double-digit scorer amongst the midfielders. So he also has all potential. So those two from Arsenal, and Martinelli's stocks have now gotten a bit down because he has been playing much wider than earlier, and also there is increased competition in Trossard. So I think the Arsenal midfielder of choice should be Saka and Odegaard. And then if you have both of them alongside Almiron, I think we can look to someone from Brighton, Mitoma and March. They have also been a revolution, especially after the restart. So if you don't have them, I think it's a really easy swap from Almiron to Mitoma or March. And if you can stretch up to Bruno Fernandes, I would go for that. So that will enable you to keep your Man City asset if you have one. So if you have the fund, go for it. So these are the three midfielder of choice to replace Almiron. That's Odegaard, Saka, and Fernandes. But in the same price range, I would go for the Brighton midfielders, March and Mitoma. And Mahrez is another one. I would go for Mahrez in the next game week, not now. So for double game week 22, I think Odegaard, Saka, and Fernandes has much higher point potential than Mahrez at the moment. So the Mitrovic replacement, Mitrovic also have some tough fixtures to come, and I think we have some viable replacement for him. And Nketiah is the number one if you don't have him, as Sankalp has been saying that Arsenal triple attack is a viable option going forward. So Nketiah should be the third one after Odegaard and Saka, and he is just a fox in the box. He never leaves the box. He is always at the end of the big chances. So he always has chances of finishing up at least save from the goalkeeper. If a goalkeeper saves the ball, he is there in the box to pounce on the rebound. So also all the big chances are coming at his feet, and he has been doing really well. So I would really suggest bringing him in, especially considering the double game is coming up. And if you don't want to go for Nketiah, another one can be Gononto, because he has been playing really well. He has a double game of 22, so he can be a good punt for this game. And also he is someone who plays Southampton home in the blank game of 25, so you can easily play him, and he is a benchable option. You can play him in the good fixtures and bench him, and then upgrade your team elsewhere by the added money. So those are the options for Almiron and Mitrovic. Now let's go for the Cancelo replacements. I think we all have Shaw at the point. If you are an active manager, I think we all have Shaw. If you don't still have Shaw, and definitely get him in, but do look out for the Man United press conference, because he has been reporting ill. So Man United have a League Cup semi-final tonight, I think. So we would have update tonight from Erik ten Hag. So if he is past fit, I think he is a must-have in your team. And this due to the Cancelo loan to Bayern. So Cancelo is out now from Man City. So Ake is much more attractive now, because we are predicting that Ake will be the first choice left back. Also, there is Laporte and Sergio Gomez. We cannot really guess Pep who he will play or not. Ruben Dias is back fit. But still, then I think Ake is a really important player for Man City right now, alongside Akanji. So either of them can be a good replacement from Man City. And then we have the Arsenal defenders, Gabriel and Zinchenko. But I agree with Sankalp. I think the play is with Arsenal triple attack, so I would not waste his spot in double Arsenal defense. If you have White, that's a different question, but I would not bring in an Arsenal defender right now. And Newcastle defense is another way to go for. We all have Trippier, so double up is a viable option. So Shar has been playing really well, and Botman also has been playing really well. Barn also, and they do not rotate much. All four and back five is really set in stone. Unless there is an injury, there would be any rotation, so we can easily pick them and keep them for the entire season. Estopinan is another one. Brighton has been playing really well in attack, but Estopinan has been joining the attacks lately. He has been assisting for fun, and Brighton has also been keeping some clean sheets, so he can be a very good option. And Bueno is the budget pick. He has, I think, cemented his place in the Wolves team now. So I think he can be someone just to keep in the bench and then play. For example, he plays in blank game of 25, so you can easily play him then. So he can be a good option to keep. Also, he has been playing really well, so I think he might come up with attacking return or two in some games. So those are the main options I think we discussed. So if you don't have Shaw, go for Shaw. Man City defense is viable option, and also Newcastle double defense is another one, and then Estopina.
Thanks, Saif. Thanks. Any questions on that, guys? Any other suggestion that stands out in your terms? Then just mention it. Otherwise, we go to the last hot topic and then we go straight to the questions.
One guy I think when it comes to midfield, especially as an Almiron replacement, I'm thinking of is Mitoma, right? I think one of the reasons people are thinking of skipping him is the blank. If there were no blanks, I'm sure there would be far many people going for it. But at the same time, if I'm looking at his fixtures, right, he has Bournemouth at home this week. Then Palace away, Fulham at home. I think 3 fixtures are good. Then there's a blank, of course. Then he faces West Ham at home. Then he faces Leeds away. Then I think again there's a blank. So I'm thinking of maybe going there, playing him for like 5 weeks. Looks like a very good player. He's on form, right, and is scoring goals. Fixtures are good. It's just that how to manage that one blank, right? That's where I might go in. And the good thing is because of the blank, not everyone is going in, so the potential is still high. I think there's still a lot of managers who are buying him because it's Bournemouth at home. But I think he's a player to consider. Just think about.
Totally agree. I was considering him immediately after the restart. Couldn't get him. Then got him last week and got his double digit. So yeah, that is why you see the difference that Ashfaq got 80 and I got 94. Yeah, Mitoma is the difference. Just that everybody knows. Sorry, Ashfaq, I'm just going to rub a little bit of salt in your wounds. But anyway,
No, that's completely fine. This has been a different season. Any differential I'm thinking of, to take into my team, Nadim Bhai already has it. I'm thinking of Mitoma. Nadim Bhai already has Mitoma. I'm thinking of Gononto. Nadim Bhai already has Gononto. So it's been a different season altogether.
yeah, you're thinking of going into Bruno Fernandes in game week 19 or 20, and Nadim Bhai has Bruno Fernandes in the restart. So yeah, bring it on. Come on.
Ashfaq, what's your rank? I don't know really. So what's your rank?
Me neither. I'm not looking at my rank for the last few weeks anyway.
That's a very good strategy. It keeps you stable and sane, I would say, at this moment. Yeah, the way the season is going. Anyway, last question, and I will answer that. Rashford triple captain in game week 22 or not? Well, I know this is a popular option and everybody will go for this one, but hear me out. And I have a different opinion here. So that is why I'm trying to suggest. I'm not trying to budge you away from Rashford. If you are confident about Rashford, please go ahead, put it on and feel free. But what I'm trying to suggest is the man who has his thumb in his mouth in the screen over there is Bruno Fernandes. I think Bruno Fernandes is a better triple captain option than Rashford. Now, if you ask me why, I'll tell you why. First thing first, minutes. There is no way that Bruno Fernandes is not going to play less than 90 minutes or less than 85 minutes. That's one thing that I can guarantee, or I think any Manchester United fans will tell you that his minutes are secured. Yeah, that's one. Second thing is, with the Eriksen injury, it appeared that this was a big blow for everybody who were actually considering Bruno Fernandes as a triple captain option. What I tried to do is I did a bit of research, and what I found is that in game week 11 and 12 in this season are the only 2 game weeks when Ericsson did not play. Now, when Ericsson did not play, I did speak about it a little bit earlier when I was asking people to buy Bruno Fernandes before his game, 19 points hauler. I did go on a rant about Bruno Fernandes, and people were laughing at me. But thanks, if those who listened got it. Those who didn't, sorry, I capitalized on it anyway. But what I tried to say in that, and I'm going to repeat it again, is the introduction of Fred. Now, what happens with Fred is when Fred comes in, and along with Casemiro, it makes Manchester United midfield pretty solid. Fred is good when it comes to the defensive work. Ericsson is good when it comes to the distribution. Ericsson is not there in the Manchester United side for the defensive work. The defensive work is done by Casemiro or by Fred. So in order to strengthen that, the defensive side of the midfield, this is where when Ericsson is playing, Bruno Fernandes has to fall down a bit or come down a bit to do the bit of a dirty work, do the bit of a defensive work, and then try to move up as possible. But when Fred is playing, Bruno Fernandes has a much more freer role. And that is what exactly we saw in Game Week 11 and in Game Week 12 when Ericsson did not play. The result was that Bruno Fernandes ended up having, I think, something like 7 or 8 shots in 2 matches, out of which 2 were against Newcastle, because Newcastle by then were already solid defensively. But against Tottenham, he had 6 shots. And his XG and XA was something around like, I think, 0.2 and I think 0.6 was this XA or something like that. What I'm trying to say is with a freer role, and now that Ericsson is confirmed to be out for a longer time, and with his minutes secured, I would expect Bruno Fernandes to play the complete number 10 role and a free role, and he would do very well. Now, another thing that I was looking at is how did he do, because we had him once upon a time, he was a very good option as an FPL asset. And that is why everybody was taking him. Now, how did he do in that time? I think what really came out, I can tell you is, I don't have the numbers on top of my head, but what I did find out, the conclusion was, he did extremely well when he had double game weeks against weaker opponents. He didn't do very well when he had double game weeks against stronger opponents. In his triple game weeks also, if you remember that there was a triple game week, I think last season, he also did pretty well. I think he got 19 points in that one as well. So yeah, what I'm trying to suggest is if you have Rashford and if you have Bruno Fernandes, the advantage of going with Bruno Fernandes is Rashford's ownership is not likely to cross more than 200%. If it doesn't cross more than 200% and you don't have the triple captain on Rashford, it's not going to affect your rank anyway. Yeah, that's the simple live FPL calculation that you can do. Yeah. So if you have Rashford and you still put the triple captaincy on Bruno Fernandes, the chances are if Bruno Fernandes matches with Rashford, because of his differential capacity or his ownership, he's likely to go up. You are likely to go up the rank rather than, stay with it. So, yeah, the only risk is whether Bruno Fernandes is actually going to match up with Rashford's points or not. And I think by the form, by the way he's playing, by the leadership role, I think by everything that you look at Manchester United right now, Bruno is the man to put the triple captaincy on for Manchester United in double game week 22 is what I would suggest, not Rashford. That's my pitch. Any questions on that?
Another thing is, I think with Ericsson out, Bruno will be on all set pieces, so his assist potential also goes up a lot. I think he's really good crosser from corners, so I think he might get an assist too.
Yeah, that's true. That's another very valid point that he's going to be on set pieces now. Yeah. Sankalp, anything to say or anything to add?
Love the analysis. Of course, shows that how closely you follow United football, right? Just want to remind everyone, when United faced Leeds last season at home, Bruno scored a hat trick. Right? So, Bruno against Leeds is a love story that
That was the first game week of the season, right?
Exactly. So,
Salah
Bruno
also
against
scored a
Leeds
hat
is a
trick, didn't he?
Yeah.
So Bruno
Good
is
times.
against Leeds is a love story that keeps happening. It's something that I've seen. It's a fixture that I personally like to attack. Right. It's very scary to go against Rashford because I know ownership will be very strong. But I don't think it will be a wrong answer. Over the 2 game weeks, I think Bruno will definitely give you a very strong return, comparable to Rashford and maybe more as well. Right. So if you're someone who's attacking the ranks, right, if you're someone who's upside chasing, right, he's I think the best differential asset that you can go for as a captain or a triple captain.
Right. Thanks. Anything else, guys? Otherwise, we move to the questions. Let's go, and we will go through. We'll whisk past the questions because it's already been 1 hour 43 minutes since we started. So let's not make it more than 2.5 hours because Ashfaq is here. You know, when Ashfaq was not here for 3 months, we used to never go beyond 1.5 hours. But
It's
now,
because nobody
unfortunately,
watched your show when I was not here, and you did not have much, viewers to speak for. That is why the show went lesser in a
true.
lesser time. There's a difference. You
So
have to take
you've been
into
watching.
context. So
You've been watching it.
the analysis on Bruno and Rashford is solid. The only thing that deters me from Bruno a bit is that well, he's still a differential asset, right? He's only 9.2% owned, while Rashford is around more than 50%. So in the event that Rashford scores, let's say 1 or 2 goals, and Bruno for any reason does not, even if you do not have the triple captain on him, it will damage your rank. That is one. And the second thing is that when Rashford is on the pitch, I don't think Bruno is still the first choice penalty taker. I think Rashford is still the first choice penalty taker. In the event that
No, no,
in both games,
but
No, let him
I
speak.
don't
Let
think
him.
so. When did Rashford become the first choice penalty taker? He was never the first choice penalty taker.
I have no idea, but let him speak, Saif.
so I'm a bit. So I've seen Rashford take penalties before. So if Bruno is the first choice penalty taker, then that
That
goes
was the
for him.
game that was already on, and Rashford was going for a record, and Bruno was still going for the penalty, but Rashford requested him, and that's why he gave the ball to Rashford.
Precisely.
So if Bruno
Precisely.
is the first choice, that changes the dynamic a bit differently. So that goes to his advantage. Anyway, that's true. That's true. Then
Yeah, but
he's a
just
for upside sound down upside chasers. Bruno will be
Another,
asset to go to.
I would like to add another uh, point in favor of Bruno. That's his bonus points potential. Because of his creativity, whenever he scores a goal, he is much more likely to get the 3 bonus. But that's not the case for Rashford because much more he plays like a striker, so he gets the chances and he takes so many shots. But Bruno much more plays like BPS magnet, so he creates lots of chances. So whenever he gets on the score sheet, it's very likely that he would go away with all 3 bonus points. So that's another point in his favor.
right. Just to clarify on the point that Ashfaq raised again, and I would like to repeat, most likely people will have Rashford and Bruno in the team. Yeah. It's not going to be like Rashford and no Bruno or Bruno and no Rashford. Yeah. It's going to be both. Okay. Now, if both are there and there is 50% ownership and there is about, let's say, 10% or 12% of ownership. Yeah. I agree. Now, let's just assume that everybody is going with Rashford triple captaincy. It would still not, I'll most likely not take up more than 200% ownership. Now, the thing is, that's why I'm talking about this 200% ownership, is that if it doesn't take you 200% ownership, the 200% ownership is a mark that where if you haven't triple captained the person, like Haaland last game week when people were triple captaining, if Haaland had scored and you had captained him and not triple captained him, your rank was still you're supposed to likely to lose your rank. That is not going to be the case when it's going to be below 200%. And I'm assuming, and my understanding is, reading from all the contents that I've been, I don't think so Rashford's ownership is going to be more than 200%. So if it is not more than 200%, you're not going to lose rank actually because you have both. One gives, you get the differential and it makes up. You don't gain much, to be honest. You don't gain much, but you still have both. It's not like you don't have one or the other. Yeah. I think that's the advantage that you want to take. So if you want to take the advantage, you have Rashford scores, okay, fine. But you have triple captain on Bruno, who is hugely differential, and he scores or matches Rashford's score. Yeah, you're shooting up the rank straight away. That's my understanding. I might be mathematically wrong here, but Sankalp, correct me if it is wrong. No, true. I mean, mathematics wise, I'm very poor, so I
He needs
admit.
to beat Rashford, not match.
At the end of the day, you have to, captain or triple captain a player who gives you more points. It doesn't
Yeah,
matter whether EO is high or low, right? That
exactly.
will matter. So as long as you feel Bruno outscores Rashford, go for it. If you feel that that is not the case, Rashford is the better.
Yeah. Okay. I think I'm convinced now. I'm totally convinced. Since you didn't comment, and Saif is also not commenting about it negatively. Like, "Arey bhai, what are you doing? You're going crazy, man. Don't go crazy, man. Play safe." Nobody's telling me to play safe. Okay. Either it's a conspiracy against me to do badly, or either it's a conspiracy, or it's a really genuine support. I'll take it and I'll realize it after the game week is over. I'll reach out to you via WhatsApp and Twitter, so don't worry about that. Anyway, let's go to the questions, and then we can quickly wrap it up because it's already quite late. Okay, so this question comes from Orange Chaudhary again. I think we answered this, discussed this, but yeah, so that's why let's try to quickly go through. Sorry. KDB to Bruno and Martinelli to Odegaard with 2 free transfers. Sankalp?
I might save one Martinelli to Odegaard one, primarily because I think even as per the metrics that you guys share, right, Martinelli has a good chance. Everton concede a
Zonal
lot
weakness.
from the side that Martinelli plays in, right. That's the reason I would save that transfer. Might be used in somewhere better next week. It's, if you look
Everton
at
are the
the
worst, I think, from the right.
Exactly. So there's a good chance that Martinelli gets something out of it. He's still giving you good returns. So just wait and watch this one match before you make your move. And given the fact that you have double game week for Arsenal as well as City next week, you can use that free transfer more wisely.
Thanks. Yeah, and Zonal says, by the way, Martinelli's position where Everton is ranked third, Nketiah and Odegaard's rank is first. So basically, Everton are the worst in that particular area, and then Saka, in terms of the area that he's going to play, Everton as the second worst. So there you go. Yeah,
But
we'll keep
Sean
that as
Dyche is back.
we'll keep that as a reference point as and when we need. Yeah. So let's go to the. By the way, there's somebody, Sheikh Shuman Bhai. I've seen that you have reacted angrily. I'm not sure what is it about, but if you could let us know in the comment, whatever the reason may be, we are happy to apologize and tell you sorry. And if you have missed your questions or something like that, whatever the issue is, yeah, just let us know. Yeah, just don't give it as a sort of like an angry reaction and then just walk away. Yeah, that would be like কথা বলবো না আর কি, yeah, I'm not going to talk to you and that's it. A bit fussy. Yeah, it sounds a bit fussy. But anyway, let's go to the next question. Saif, it's a big question again, and it's your destiny. It's destined for you always. My team: Kepa, Shaw, Trippier, Cancelo, White, Patterson, Karibi, Martinelli, Almiron, Da Silva, Rashford, Kane, Haaland, Mitro. I have 2 transfers. Suggest some good move. Ready to take a -4. Question from Ayan Chaudhary. Thank you so much, brother. Saif, are you hearing?
I'm thinking.
Oh, okay. I thought like you couldn't hear or something. You got stuck
No,
or
no, no.
something. Okay.
I think his defense is fine. He can easily play short repair and White. So from KDB, Martinelli, Almiron, Da Silva, Rashford. So he needs to have Bruno in. So I would go for Almiron to Bruno, and then Cancelo to, I think, someone from Newcastle. So I think that would afford him the Bruno transfer. And if he can afford Bruno with one move, that's Almiron to Bruno, I would then go for Mitro to Nketiah to double up on Arsenal attack. So that would be my moves. And if he is willing to take a -4, I would go for those 3 moves. So Cancelo to someone downgrade, then Almiron to Bruno, and Mitro to Nketiah. Then play 3-4-3.
Excellent. Thanks. Ashfaq, question to you. Somebody from the community is asking, in previous season, we can't make our dream team just because of the balance. Okay. In this season, dream team already made plus 4-5 in the 4-5 million in the bank, mid and low range assets doing really well. Sorry. This is a comment really, not a question. Thanks, brother. That's true, actually. That is actually so true. We don't know how to spend our money, and I think that is what makes us a bit trigger happy, to be honest. But be careful. Control your urge, yeah? গন্ধম ফল খায়েন না ভাই, গন্ধম ফল খাওয়া ঠিক না, ঠিক আছে? গন্ধম ফল খাওয়া থেকে নিজেকে prevent করেন, that evil fruit that Eve ate is something that you should have the control or the urge. Don't go for that evil fruit that Eve ate. So yeah, just be careful. An Chaudhary then says, sorry, I have come up with a lot of questions, though it would be helpful for you guys to say, brother, we have answered all the questions. Thank you so much. I hope you like it, and do let us know if you have more. Tajdeed Hussain is saying activated wildcard this week. Kepa, Ward, Trippier, Shaw, White, Lewis,
Yes,
Bueno,
finally.
Rashford, Fernandez, Odegaard, Rodrigo, Mahrez, Haaland, Kane, Tony. Total points 1310. Try to do something better. Give me some tips, Saka or Mitoma for next game weeks. Ashfaq?
So this was my question. This was not sideways. You sure?
No, unfortunately, no. I
Right.
can't.
That's why I
So-
said finally.
So Tajid Hossein bhai, you're doing pretty good. Your 13-10 means you are doing better than Nadim bhai, in fact. So regarding your team and the wild card, your team seems pretty solid. But what I'm concerned a bit is basically you have 5 playing midfielders as well as 3 playing forwards. So regarding that, I think you wanted to accommodate Haaland, Kane, and Man City assets, etc. So your defense looks a bit weak. I think that is something. I think there can be some work done there. This is a decent team, but I would rather have a 5-3-5-2 formation to play with, or a 3-4-3 formation to play with, because with this formation there's a good chance you are benching some pretty important players. So in that aspects, well, I think it's arguably better that you you can let go of Kane and bring in someone like KDB, because KDB has a double game week coming. Saka is something to consider as well, because Saka has a double game week coming up, and like Sankalp said, Saka is more essential to the Arsenal attack than the other asset. He is the talisman. He's on penalties as well. Mitoma is an explosive pick, but you have to take into consideration his upcoming blank game week. So if you can, roam around that, he can be a good asset. But between Saka and Mitoma, definitely Saka. With this formation, like I said, I think that is the you can do better with your defenses, because I see you have taken Lewis and Bueno, so your defense looks a bit weak. Lewis, although he looks likely to start, I'm not sure of his minutes. You should, get someone like double up Newcastle defense or someone like that. But otherwise, good for you. You're having a decent season. Between Saka and Mitoma, definitely go for Saka.
Right. I think one of the suggestions I would say is Tony out and then just get Nketiah in. I think that's it. I wouldn't go for anything else. I think then you still double up on Arsenal. You might not be able to get Saka. But yeah, in Mitoma's case, you can always move after Rodrigo plays. I mean, you can always go for Mitoma in that case. That's what I would suggest if you want to really get them. But maybe next game week. Yeah, Mitoma might be next game week.
One thing to consider, or just look at the news. There's a lot of rumor around Rodrigo injury from
Yes.
Just
Yes.
keep an eye on that.
There's a very good chance Rodrigo is not fit to play the upcoming game week.
Yeah, that's true. Okay. And then Fine Islam says, say yes. I don't know what about but we will say it yes. Okay, let's say yes. Okay. Then this one I think we already answered. He has repeated the question. Tazid Rahman said, thoughts on triple capping Rashford. Sankalp, over to you on this one. We
I
answered
think we have discussed this a lot, right? Nothing wrong. I think it'll give you returns, right? If you feel that this is where you should go, just go for it, because Fixtures are easy. Guys on form. United is playing well. No wrong answer.
Yeah, that's not a wrong answer. Yeah. All right. Saif, Dalot, কি অবস্থা? Fit?
I don't really know. So I think we would get some update because they have a game tonight. So I think at least after the game we will know much more. And also I think we will have a press conference.
He
before the
does
next
not seem to be fit as of yet, and what I can understand, Warren Bin Wasaka is doing a decent job in his as his replacement. So Ten Hag does not seem to be in a rush to bring him back. So Dalot does not seem a feasible option at the moment for FPL managers.
True. I agree with that. What's Ashfaq said. Yeah. Then Arabic Bhai says, Assalamu alaikum, brothers. Wa alaikum assalam, brother. And then Shian Naim is asking a question. Trippier, White, Dalot, Doherty, Bueno are the 5 defenders in my team. What should I do? Ashfaq?
Well, Doherty has already been, I think, loaned to Atletico Madrid, and Dalot is a genuine concern for starting right now. So, bringing in at least one defender for Dalot or Doherty, especially Doherty, because there's a chance Dalot might be back in the near future, but Doherty, I think, is a no go for the season because of his sell. So, Doherty should be a priority sell in your team, because Bueno, I think, plays Liverpool this week, so there's a good chance Bueno concedes a bit goal. Although, like Sankalp said, Wolves looks good defensively as well as defensively too. But definitely, Doherty should be a priority transfer out in your team. And I see that you don't have Shaw. Definitely bring in Shaw.
Yeah. Okay. And then Sankalp, question from the same person, Shian Naim, who's asking Salah to Bruno and Dalot to Shaw for -4.
Makes sense.
Makes sense, yeah, absolutely. I think this is pretty easy. -4 would be worth it. Yeah, Shian Naim, right? Okay. Ittikarul Islam Bappi says, I have 2 free transfers, so I want to replace Kulu, Almiron, Tony with Bruno, Saka, Gononto. Is it worthy to take -4? Saif?
I think those are good moves. Gononto has a double game week, and Bruno also has a double game week, and Saka is a long-term hold. So I think this is a good move in both short-term and long-term.
Agree with that one. Okay. Then Hamid 9 says, Kepa, Ward, Trent, Bueno, Trippier, me, White, Salah, Martinelli, Almiron, Rashford, Rodrigo, Haaland, Tony, Martial, fruit transfers, and 2.8 million in the bank. Thoughts and suggestions from all. Okay. I think the last part did it a bit.
Right, I guess.
Yeah. We'll start with you, Ashfaq, first. Yeah.
Haminur 9 bhai, I see that you have a lot of funds tied up with Trent and Salah. So regarding your transfers, I think those should be your priority transfers out. For this game week, like we discussed in detail, Bruno is a priority transfer. Definitely, I see you already have Rashford. So I think Trent to Shaw and maybe Salah to Bruno should be the transfer you should go to.
Sankalp?
Makes sense, especially moving out of Salah, right? So that downgrade itself gives you a lot of money, right, to play around, and then it depends which player you want to attack, right? If you, for example, here I see Shaw is not there, right? So I think Trent to Shaw is easy replacement. If you want to attack, maybe you can move out of Almiron or Rodrigo. If Rodrigo is injured, maybe you can use that extra money to go Saka, maybe a single game week player, or maybe double up somewhere else.
Saif?
Actually, if that was my team, I would play the wildcard this game because there are lots of players that I want to change. So let's look for 2 transfers which should be priority. I think Salah to Bruno is the no-brainer. Not Ashwagoi said you need Shaw. So I would go for the 2 Ashwagoi said. That's Salah and Trent to Shaw and Bruno.
Yeah, I would take a -8 hit in this case because you already have 2 free transfers, and then I would suggest you take -4 and -4. That's -8, and I think that -8 is going to make you make up for it by game week 23. So the two transfers already mentioned by others, I think Salah and Trent, I think you know those. I'm not going to repeat that. So that's your two free transfers, and then you have 2.8 million in the bank. And I see Almiron and Rodrigo and Tony and Martial, 4 or 5 of them. Out of this, I would wait for the press conference to see if Rodrigo's situation. If Rodrigo is out, then I would suggest you take Rodrigo out and Tony out, or Martial out. If Martial is still not, I mean, I have heard he's free. He's going to be in the team line, but still,
He's on
um,
bench today. The lineup is out. He's on bench today.
But
So more or
but
less.
if he wants to bring in Bruno and Shaw, he needs to transfer out Martial anyway because he already has Rashford.
exactly. So that was exactly my decision. That you wait for Rodrigo information, and then out of that you think about Martial or Almiron. Yeah, one of them you take it out, and the other option would be Rodrigo. Yeah, so Martial definitely needs to go out. The reason as to what I'm trying to tell you is that with your foot transfer is whether to go for Almiron or whether to go for Rodrigo. And I think that decision you can take is after the press conference is clear and you know exactly. And I think Saka is a very good option. And I think in Martial's case, this is where Nketiah would come in because you still have quite a lot of money and you'll be downgrading Salah to Bruno. So that will be saving. You'll get more money in that case. So that would be my advice, Hamid Nunain. Right. Okay. Marzuk Rahman is asking which will be the best to use triple captain, Rashford in 22 or Haaland in 29. I'll go to you, Ashfaq, for this one because the last one was not your full answer anyway. So yeah, over to you.
Personally, I'm probably not playing the triple cap this week. Triple cap is something that I reserve for a more maybe good, more appealing fixture. Haaland in 29 is an option, or something maybe in game week 30. So I'm not personally. I'm not playing my triple cap this week. If you're asking me, Haaland in 29 is a good shout too. But let's wait till 29 or other options if it comes along. But personally, I'm probably not playing the triple captain this week.
So are you encouraging him to play the triple captain or you are discouraging him to play the triple captain?
Rashford is still a good option. Rashford is still a good option. But regarding your chips, what I suggest is that you should pan out your chips and when you should play them. And personally, I see I will have better options to play my triple captain chips over the coming game week. So still, Rashford triple captain is a good idea if you're trying to gain some points, or move far ahead in your mini league. Is a very good option. Although Nanim has made the case for Bruno as well, but Rashford nevertheless is a good option. But I'm probably not going for the triple cap. Maybe captaining Rashford, yes, but not the triple cap.
Right. Okay. Then Tanvitana is asking, Sankalp, how about Gononto Estupian or for Greenwood and Cucurella?
Why don't you answer this one?
Me. I would discourage people now to go to Gononto, to be honest, if you're asking my opinion in this case. I would discourage people to go to Gononto for 1 week. Yeah, I know that the fact that he has a double game week this week and then he has a no blank in 25 and all that advantage.
His ownership goes up, then this is not a differential anymore, etc. These are all factors.
Thanks Ashfaq for thinking it very smartly. However, I would like to contradict here is that my suggestion would be if you have a little bit of money, I mean if you're going from Cucurella and you're going to Estupiñán, I think there is a bit of a money that you're saving. If you can add money, I don't know how much you have it in the bank, I would suggest instead of going for Gononto, you go for Nketiah in this case. Yeah, that allows you the same thing, good fixtures, no blanks in 25 and 23 is where you get the doubles. Yeah, it's similar to Gononto. 22 double game week, he has 23 double game week, he has no blank in 25. Nketiah doesn't have blank in 25. They all have good fixtures. Arsenal has the best team, so that's it. Yeah, go for Nketiah. It's just a couple of millions more. Try getting that. I wouldn't go with Gononto right now. In fact, spoiler alert, that is my move this week. Gononto to Nketiah. I'm moving away this week itself. it's a preemptive move rather than waiting for Game Week 23. I want to target based on the zonal, and I'll just bring up that one again. If you see the zonal, then you'll understand as to why I'm going for NKTA this week rather than waiting for the double game week, because Everton are worst when it comes to the center zone, and that's where they have considered 12 chances already. So yeah, I'm not going to wait for Gononto. I'm rather going to probably bench Martinelli, because otherwise my team doesn't look out of. I mean, I cannot play three forwards. So yeah, that's a decision I have to take. But I'm going for Nketiah this week. Yeah, Estupinian is fine with Cucurella. That I would suggest. Yeah, go ahead if you are going for a short term. Right. Okay. Then there is hello from Maruf Muqtadir, and then there is another question from Monirul Islam Bhai. Is there any news about Rodrigo injury issue? What is the update, Sankalp?
No formal news yet, but a lot of speculation coming from Leeds-based sources. Something to monitor. Might be true, but we don't have any formal news. Still looking for it.
Yeah, so wait for the press conference update, and I'm sure you will get it. Martial update is just something that Sankalp just shared a couple of minutes back. Aminul Islam Bhai, is that Martial is currently on the bench and is playing against Nottingham Forest, because I think this is the second round of the Carabao Cup, and Manchester United wins, then means Newcastle versus Manchester United will play the final, which means Newcastle blank in game week 25, right?
Like United.
Yep. Okay. Like United. Yeah. Thanks. I was so cunning not mention United's name over there, as if like, yeah, keep their assets. Yeah. Just think about it. Get everybody out of Newcastle. People are just jumping onto them, right? Okay. Mushroom Mubashir is asking better option for 22, Bruno Fernandes or Rodrigo. Already have Shaw and Rashford. Saif, I'll come to you with this one. I think it's a pretty straightforward answer, but yeah.
Yeah, definitely Bruno. Regardless of Rodrigo's injury or not, Bruno is the better pick. But hold off your transfer because Man United has put up a really strong team. So just wait and see if there is any unlikely injuries happen. So I was really surprised at the team they put out because they are 3-0 up. They're playing at home. I didn't see the point in just risking so many players. So let's see if they can get through this game and then think about bringing them in. But Bruno is the better pick, definitely better pick.
Yeah, we don't want to come across as being complacent. I think that's one of the messages that Eric Ten Hag wants to give. And I think Eric Ten Hag is also sending a message to the players that, this is normality where you have to play so many matches. So just get on with it. Yeah. And I think one goal is all they're looking for. Probably once it's 4-0, the lead, then I think a number of subs will come in. Yeah, 5-0, because then there'll be, I think that's the strategy, but I'm not quite sure. I might be entirely wrong in this case. But anyway, Ghalib Ahmed Bhai is asking, is Haaland's double game week for Game Week 29 confirmed? Might hold the triple captainship if it is. Ashfaq?
I don't think it's confirmed. I don't believe it is, but there's a very high likely possibility. But Haaland will have definitely have probably have double game weeks, if not in game week 29, definitely after game week 30. So Haaland will have options. If not disaster strikes and Haaland is injured for a long term, etc. Although he does not get injured ever, so you will have options to probably give Haaland the triple cap in his double game weeks.
Right. Sankalp, any opinion on that one?
Something to look at. I am also waiting for it. To be honest, if you are not completely confident or you want to still, wait for the better picture, 29 might be it. So I'm also holding for it.
I think one of the main message that I'm trying to send here to Ghalib Ahmed Bhai is try and check the fixtures of the Champions League and see as to if they are colliding with Game Week 29 at that case, because there is a risk of rotations then, and you never know with Pep. Yeah. So that's something that I don't want to take the risk. That's why I'm trying to play the triple captainship as soon as possible. Yeah. Maybe not this week, then if next week, definitely, probably. But yeah, within Game Week 26, I'm planning to play this chip. Yeah. Tajdeed Hossain is asking, Rashford or Bruno, whom to cap? Sankalp, I'll ask you this question.
I was pretty convinced about Rashford, but hearing to Nadeem Bhai, I slowly, feeling that Bruno thing. I'll take a call later. As things stand now, for me, it's Rashford. And also now adding to the fact that Rashford got rested for this match, to the one that will happen in an hour, and Bruno is still playing that. So rested Rashford feels like a logical pick. But if you want to chase ranks, I think Bruno is a perfect differential captain that you can go for.
That's true. That's true. I hope. Let me know, Sankalp, what you decide in the end. If Bruno Fernandes, and I hope, just fingers crossed, if Bruno Fernandes is not injured this week. Just hope. Um, by the way, since 2016, he has only missed 2 games or 3 games, I think, in total. So far, I think I saw it on Twitter. So yeah, that's an incredible amount of fitness record. But yeah, touch wood in this case. किसी बुरे नजर वाले तेरा मुंह काला, just in case. So somebody from the community saying replace KDB to Bruno and Kane to whom? Saif.
I think if you go to go from Kane to Nketiah, then I think you can keep KDB and get another one of your midfielders out for Bruno. I think that would be a smart pick. So you can easily have KDB for his double game week. So I would look for ways to do that if you can do so. And if you can't, I don't think there is any point in replacing Kane. Just do KDB to Bruno.
Okay. Okay, this one is about me. Appreciation comment coming from Galib Ahmed Bhai for me. Okay, thank you, Bhai. Thank you so much. Yeah, sensational. I'm still trying to say, like, this is not dream, this is reality. But let's just hope it continues, and I hope I'm able to have one of the best seasons that I've been hoping for I don't know, eternity, but I've never had. Because there were
Prayers are
always
with you.
there are players like Madison and who kind of dhokebaz, and all those players are there always. So thank God these are out of FPL options, so I'm doing well. That's the reason, nothing else.
Prayers are with you.
Thanks, Ashfaq. बुरे नजर वाले तेरा मुंह काला. Maruf Muqtadir Khan is then as I'm playing Tickle Retinue at 27. Okay, what is there in 27, by the way? I have no idea. I think I'm not looking anything beyond 28, 25 right now. So I don't know what is in 27. Is there anything in 27?
Might
Any
be a
idea?
double game week for one or two clubs.
Newcastle might have a double game week, and Brighton as well. Maybe he's considering Trippier as a triple captain.
That is a good idea. That is a brilliant idea. Maruf Muqtadir, if it is about Newcastle and going with Trippier or Shaw, what do you call it, Botman or Byrne or Shar, yeah, it's a brilliant idea. You get 6, 6, 12, and that's it. With the bonus, it's already 15, and that's it. That's 45 points right there. Wow, brilliant. Yeah, good one. Asif Hassan Bhai is asking, is Bruno essential for this double game week? Absolutely yes. I don't need to ask anybody's opinion in this case. Anybody and everybody will tell you, who's aware of the current FPL landscape, will tell you Bruno is absolutely essential for this double game week. If there is a little bit of asterisk here, again, touch wood, if he doesn't get injured, tonight. Okay, and then Shian Naim is saying for double game week 23, Akanji or Ake, Mahrez or KDB. Whom did I ask the last question? I'm sorry, I lost the queue here.
I
Who
think
answered the
me.
last? Okay, Ashfaq, over to you.
With Pep defenses, you never know. But between Akanji or Ake, the jury is out there. I have Akanji. Akanji has rarely missed games, so my preference is still Akanji over Ake. And between Mahrez and KDB, I have KDB. I still believe he's the has the better point ceiling. But Mahrez is a great differential to own. So if you're bringing in a player, I think it should be Mahrez over KDB. But if you have KDB, I think you should keep him.
Right, okay. Sankalp, pick one, Saka, Martinelli and Nketiah.
For me, if it's one, it's Saka.
Okay, there your biasness is talking now. Okay.
But he has made good points about Saka.
No, true. Yeah. He also admitted, He also admitted that I have a bit of a biasness when it comes to Saka. Yeah. So yeah, fair point. He has his logic as well as his biasness, so which is both true. Okay. Update about James and Chilwell. Saif.
I'm not really sure, but what I have heard is that both of them are back pretty close to first time return. So I think we'll get some updates 1 or 2 game weeks later.
Okay. Okay, so this is the last comment that came in at the time that we set, which is 11:45, and this is the registered time. So somebody from the community says, play with 3 Newcastle defenders. Is that a wise decision? He means Newcastle. Is that a wise decision? I'll come to you, Sankalp, with this one.
No, too much of a risk. Too much of a risk. Uh,
Yeah,
at
somebody
least
else
not this week.
from your
Not
compatriot, by the way.
Also, the blanks to come.
Yeah, also the blanks to come, right? So whenever you have a blank, you'll be scampering around trying to play other players, right? Keep it 2, and if you want to keep, 3 players, I think Pope is a very strong goalkeeper to go for, right? And then in that way you will be able to, move out 1 defender when required, etc. But don't play 3 defenders. It's very, very risky.
Okay. There are a few more comments that I will just read, and will probably not ask everybody's opinion about it. I will just read through it, just because they have taken the time to stay with us for so long, and still commented. So it's a gesture from us. Hamid 9 says, second time after the World Cup commenting in your show. Yes, all good. Just dealing with my studies. Yeah, good luck, brother. Focus on that. But yeah, focus a little bit on FPL as well. Yeah, you should. Come on, don't be too studious. Then somebody from the community said, me, White, or Aurea, which are the best for starting 11? If you had to only consider these 3, I would go with White. I would not go with me or Aurea at this moment. Yeah, I will go with White in this case. If these are the 3 that you are choosing from. And then Maruk Muktadi said, KDB to Bruno, Tony to Nketiah, Almiron to Saka, Odegaard. Sankalp, I'll come to you with this one quickly.
I think I would take, if possible, I would do all the 3. Right, makes sense. It's a very good long-term move if you can do all the 3. If not, if you have 2-1, I would do the second one first. I mean, Almiron to Saka or Odegaard, and then Tony to Eddie maybe sometime later.
Right. Okay. And then he follows up with another question. I have 2 free transfers. Which two should I do? Or only KDB to Bruno, or roller transfer? Saif?
I think you can roll a transfer by doing KDB to Bruno because Tony has good fixture. I think he has also good scoring potential this game week. So you can then do the other 2 transfers next game week.
Okay. And then Oren Chaudhary, who started with the first comment on the show, and then he's finishing up with the last show. So he's been still watching live, which is great. Thanks, brother, for the tremendous support and listening through all the nonsense and crap and all the unnecessary talks, and somebody wasting a lot of time while they're talking. Instead of asking questions, they go on a monologue, just like me when I'm supposed to actually read your comment. I'm not reading, I'm actually talking rubbish again. So yeah, thanks for all that. Last question. Who is your next game week triple captain? Question for all. I will not pass this question to everybody. I will ask this to Ashfaq, because I think this is a question for next game week. So we will have another podder who's coming in, Alex. So yeah, we can ask him that. Go on, Ashfaq, answer this question. Just an answer. You are muted.
Sorry. This is about game week 23.
Yep.
Game week 23. Well, my initial
I
understanding
think it's
is
about
that
22.
No, who's your next game week? Not this game week.
I think he meant 22.
I think that then we have discussed this. Then there's nothing to answer in this case. Yeah, I think he's pondering now whether he's going to go Rashford.
But if it's 23, it'll probably be Haaland. So I don't think there's
Definitely be Haaland.
Definitely be Haaland.
Yeah, that's it. That's the simple answer. Everybody nodded the moment we all said Haaland. I wish I could record that part, but you could just see, I think it would be Haaland, and then everybody was like, yeah. All 4 of us were like nodding their head. So yeah, that kind of answers it. All right, thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much. This has been a marathon, and we had a lot of content to discuss. We had a lot of interesting points to come up. We had an international guest joining us, staying with us for more than 2 hours, uh, and answering all your questions and analyzing his Arsenal point of view. But you guys have been wonderful, staying with us for so long and listening to all the rubbish. Again, yeah, ignore Ashfaq because he goes on a rant anyway. But beside that, if we have done something wrong, sorry for that. Sankalp, it was really good to have you. You are coming in again. This is not your last time for this season. I can tell you that. You're coming in again very soon. But until then, guys, it's all the very best for the Double Game Week. To keep in touch, and all the information will be shared on the pod, on our Facebook page. So do watch it out if you haven't. Until then, take care. It's goodbye from me. Good night.
Thanks for
Bye,
having
everyone.
us. Good night.
Thank you.